down?
No, stream was down.
Oh, no.
So, long story short, all of your McDonald's conversation did not happen. So nobody knows about that.
Aww.
So, real quick
Such
recap because
interesting
that
things.
apparently just went down, I guess.
Forever.
So anyway, this
That's
is
in our hearts.
In our minds,
this is Celine. Here in the middle. Celine is playing Clyde, the wood elf druid. She ran into Flint as he left his tryst with the
Dalliance.
or dalliance, as some would refer to it as, with the.
I wonder why they're giving us 2 slivers for each rat tail.
It's a silver. Silver.
Oh.
The L and the I are in different places now. Makes more sense now, right?
It does.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you really want wood? I thought it was a local
No.
thing.
Does it say rat or bat?
Rat.
Looks like it's a bat.
It says rat.
This old lady, anyway. So this old lady apparently was talking
Yeah.
to Rick, and he was like, "This
Yeah.
old lady, her husband went down to deal with the rats in their basement like 5 days ago, and he never came back." So I want to go check that out because it sounds like maybe he's not alive after 5 days
You
alone
know, but
in
I'm
the
sure
basement.
everything's okay.
You know, maybe they have a well down there or something.
Yeah, I mean, I would
Could
love
we
to
eat
check
it?
it out. I don't know.
Eating the rats?
Well, I mean, if he's down there for 5 days.
Rat's a fine meal.
Maybe he like
It's a
fell
good
and broke
meal.
his
There's
hip.
good meat on that.
Anyway, I think we should investigate this
Yeah, we can
because
check
you
it
can't
out.
just leave an old lady.
I don't know if we can do that tonight, though. Because Clyde has a
We
day.
can check it out.
Hey, what time is it right
Yeah,
now?
what time is it?
Yeah, it's like 3:30. It's gray. It's overcast because there is a storm.
There's a storm.
There's a big
storm.
It's
storm.
a back. It's a doozy.
It's gonna be a whopper, speaking in the vernacular of the peasant.
Yes.
She knows because
Smells
she's a
like
druid and has druid craft, and it said that there was going to be a very large storm
Look
coming.
at you.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So again, just to throw the quick recap for everybody, because you saw that. We know what happened with Theren. Him and Ranrak fought I'm Sick, and they secured a sweet deal with Braxton, the storage owner.
Yeah, that's right.
Clyde and Flint
Storage
met each
wars.
other randomly in the woods. They rescued a lady who was petrified by cockatrices.
Cox!
They came back. Clyde has secured, not really by much of her own choice, a dinner date with Rick, the owner of the local gold and silver pawn shop.
Alright.
He did a pretty good job. He was a smooth talker.
All right.
You guys did it with each other.
And Flint is arranged with Rick to meet with Ollivander, the Elder Wandsmith, to affix his holy symbol to his shield. They just ran into each other in the street, leaving Rick's shop. And that's where we are up to date. Oh, real quick, a thing that I mentioned before. We're debuting a brand new monster from the Tome of Beasts made by Cobalt Press. They did Rise of the Dragon Queen, their whole Tyranny of Dragons thing. Horde of the Dragon Queen, Rise of Tiamat. They created that. They gave us access to exclusive monsters before the book is released in the... Can we just move the Oreos away from the mic?
That's right.
Before it releases in the summer, so we will be debuting one of those monsters tonight. About 2 monsters a month. They're awesome and really cool. These guys are level 6 right now, so they're around CR6 monsters. And they are all mostly woodlandy, foresty themed because that's the current situation we're in. Although, be on the lookout for some nasty underground creatures when we end up going into a dungeon.
Oh.
So,
Don't go to the underground.
alright.
There's a basement.
You
Yeah,
heard the
I'll check out.
interchange at the beginning. They're going to find Mrs. O'Leary
Mm-hmm.
and go to her basement as she offered some reward that I forgot what I wrote.
2
Printed.
silver
2 silver.
per bat.
Rat.
Rat. And 250 gold for ending the bat menace. Which sounds like it might be... Like we might have to fight Batman.
Hmm.
The bat menace.
Injustice.
Can we befriend him instead?
Well, this is Ratman. Like, Batman's like really,
But it's
really
Bat
shitty
Menace.
cousin. Yeah, the Rat Menace.
Alright.
Rats.
It looks like a bee.
I can't read it at all.
It looks like a bee.
Maybe that's
It's
why
connected.
Ranrak, or maybe that's why Theren couldn't read it. It's illegible. Okay, so Red Larch isn't that big of a town.
Okay.
It's sizable. I actually have a map, but I forgot to print it out.
That's fine.
So that's fine. So you guys, Rick kind of told you the directions to Mrs. O'Leary's house. So you guys eventually make it there. It's nice. It's after lunch, 3 in the afternoon. The town is all quiet. There's nobody outside because the storm that you can see roiling in on the horizon is going to be very big, and people are like, you heard people, wandering as you were wandering around town. People were really upset because this big storm's coming, and the festival is tomorrow, and it's been very warm out, and it's really hard to have a winter festival when it's this warm out.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
There's a storm going.
yes, and you make it to Mrs. O'Leary's house.
All right. Well, I'm gonna knock on the door.
I'm gonna stand awkwardly behind Theren while he knocks on the
All right.
door.
Well, after I knock on the door, I'm gonna take one step back. That's an appropriate thing to do, and I'm gonna bump into you.
Oh
I'm
no!
gonna say, "Oh, sorry, man. I didn't
Sorry.
see
I'm
you
just
back
gonna
there."
awkwardly off to the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you stand there, and it takes a little bit. Make me a perception check.
13.
Okay, so you hear some movement inside, and then as it gets closer, you kind of hear like a clunk and as the door opens, you see this hunched little old lady there with a cane. You realize that was the sound, was her feet kind of shuffling in her slippers and her cane coming down as she slowly makes her way to the door. And she's got big like Coke bottle glasses, and she's in like a nightgown, even though it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She's got a nightcap, which looks remarkably like a Christmas hat, but it's just a nightcap.
It's just like that.
Even though it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and she kind of does one of these and takes off her big glasses. Her eyes are obviously much smaller now, and she on her moo there, and she puts them back on and kind of looks at you and says, "Hello."
No. Hello there, ma'am. We came in. See, we found this here note from Rick. You know Rick, the nice young man who runs the pawn shop?
Sorry, I'm trying to think of Rick as a nice man that runs the
Well, he's a nice young man to her. So.
Yes, no, that is true. And she says, "Oh, Rick, he's such a nice little boy."
No, I don't.
Anyway, we heard you had a rat issue, and we would just, love to take care of that for you.
And she looks at this and she kind of waves in and says, yes, come in. She grabs your arm and kind of
Guys,
You
we're going
inside.
inside.
And you see the inside of this house is, picture any grandmother ever. And it's basically this. It is old furniture. I mean, the chairs are old and rickety. They don't look comfortable, but they all have nicely crocheted pillows on them. It has that kind of old lady, old person smell. You can see that there's lots of kind of drawings and stuff on the wall, probably from her children or her grandchildren, all decorated all around the walls. There's a steaming pot of tea that's sitting out on the table that you could just tell, just by looking at it, she's the kind of person that always has tea available, like whenever anybody comes over. And there's some kind of cakes there on the table, and she kind of has your arm and she's shuffling you along, and she says, "Would you like some tea and crumpets?"
Great, yeah, I'll take the tea and I'll pour. Would you guys like some tea?
Sure.
Yes?
Yes, great. I'm gonna pour tea for everybody,
Lovely.
and then we'll give out some crumpets. And so tell us about your rat issue.
So
Or that issue, depending on what the flyer says.
She kind of hobbles herself over to what you could only assume as her chair with the nice pink cushions on it. And she kind of she sits in her chair and she puts her cane down and she says, "My husband, Jim, he went into the basement 4 or 5 days ago, and he never came back. I heard a scream, but I'm too old and frail to even go down the stairs, so I went to Rick and I said, 'Rick, can you send a reward? I don't have much in the way of gold, but for 250 gold, hopefully someone will come and protect and maybe retrieve my husband and hopefully see if he's okay.'"
Well, that's us. We are here to do that. That door right over there.
That's the one right over
All right.
there.
Well, we're gonna.
Slide down your frog hole.
Be careful. It's hot.
It's hot.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
Don't worry, dear.
Press
And she said,
digitation magically.
and she goes, oh, magic.
Hey, Mrs. O'Leary.
And she says, you're awfully hairy for such a young lad. And
I get that a lot, actually.
she says, well, I hope you enjoy the tea.
Yes.
And
thank
there'll
you.
be plenty more when you come back, don't you worry. And Just right over here is the door.
Great. So let's head down to the basement. Thank you for the
Alright.
tea and the
Thank you.
crumpets.
Yeah, we'll be
Does
right
she
back.
raise
Delicious.
casually to you guys as you head to the?
I wipe my crumbs off as I stand up all over her floor.
Sorry, that was very loud. So you guys head over to you see the door to the basement.
Great.
I'm checking for traps.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Flint, what are you doing?
I'm looking for traps.
Now you check.
Here?
Just, I'm trying not to take anything for granted.
Okay.
And hey, Kimmy and Pink, thanks for
21.
checking out. You don't think that there are any traps.
I don't think there are any traps.
I would have assumed as much.
Oh.
I don't think Mrs. O'Leary could set up a trap. Anyway, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna head down the stairs and
I'll go.
look
Okay.
for her husband.
Follow, I suppose.
Okay, so you open the door and you just get this kind of musty, nasty smell just fills your lungs, and you almost are take a step back because it's just so overwhelming.
Mhm.
You could tell that whoever's down here she never goes down into this basement. She probably hasn't even seen anything in this basement in years.
Great.
So,
You know how we have that wax?
Yeah.
Take some wax, boom,
Right
stuff
up
it
the
up my
nose.
nose. Hey guys, you want some?
Yeah, nose wax.
Yeah, this is just terrible. So
so you guys
I
start
feel better now.
to it's pitch black, which isn't an issue for any of you guys because you
can
all
see
can
in the
see in the dark. And again, you can see that I have the basement kind of drawn out there for you. So you're gonna come. The stairs are on the right side there. That's the stairs coming down.
this,
That's right there.
okay.
So you can see obviously 60 feet out into the room. Those X's are supports for the basement itself, and these circles are barrels. The squares are crates.
Cool.
So you kind of come down and you make it about halfway down the stairs, and you hear a really loud like squeak, and it's like really, and you can't tell, is that a rat? Is that the stairs?
Is that a
I
bat?
don't know. Is it a
Could be a
bat?
bat.
Could be a bat.
I cast mending on the stairs underneath us, just in case.
Okay.
You know who would have a nice time here? Droop. He would fix this place
Droop would
up.
love this place.
We should.
Droop is a goblin that we rescued. Hobgoblin?
Goblin.
Just a regular goblin.
Goblin that we rescued from being tortured by orcs. He's a wonderful woodsmith.
It's really incredible.
It's almost as good as stone.
Makes sense.
So,
I'm indifferent.
as you, who's going first, by the way?
I'm going first.
Okay. So Theren,
I found this job.
Sure.
at the bottom of the stairs there, why don't you make me a dexterity saving throw?
Hey, how about that? 2.
All right, so you make it to the bottom of the stairs, and you step down, and then because you weren't paying attention, it's dark, and you fail your dex saving throw. Just cobwebs, just all over your face. You feel them all over, like, and you're trying to pull them off, and it's in your hair. And you feel like you got them all off your face, but you still feel like there's more, even though there isn't any. And just
Oh, that's gross. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take out a torch and light up. There's cobwebs all around. I'm gonna light up a torch.
Prestidigitation.
Thank you.
Magic cleaning cobwebs.
I'm gonna have a torch out to burn cobwebs as we go from now
okay.
on.
So you see as you
Like it.
as you do that, the torch kind of catches those cobwebs, and it kind of. And then the light kind of flickers around the room. You can kind of see again further. You can see all the way to the far wall, actually, because the extra light kind of extended, your dark vision. So you can see the crates, and that kind of squiggly thing on the left there is just like a pile of rags, or clothes, or something.
Are they Ranrak rags?
No, those are lame, and nobody would ever have those in their basement.
Fair.
But you actually see, unfortunately, right there in front of you, the body of a human man.
An old man?
An old man, as far as you can tell.
Guys, I think this is Jim.
Who's Jim?
That's Mrs. O'Leary's husband.
Okay. Did she tell us that?
Yeah. She said that about 4 days ago he went down there
I wasn't
and
paying attention.
then she heard a scream.
She was
and then
she was
couldn't go
lapping
check.
up her tea like a cat.
I saw that.
That's not how you drink. That's not how you drink.
Wait, guys,
That's
there's
not-
a dead body right here. Let's be a little more
Drew,
conscientious.
we should deal with that.
See, this is why I'm still alive. When we met up in the forest, at one point, she was like, "How are you not dead?" And I said, "Well, I'm usually hanging out with Theren, and that helps."
We keep each other alive mostly. It's nice.
All right, I'm gonna go over there and check
Out the body.
out the body.
Okay, why don't you make me either a, why don't you make me a perception check?
Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, 27.
Okay, you notice on his leg, even though he's old and he's clearly been dead for maybe 2 days at this point, 3 days, you see just little, little teeth wires kind of all over his body, all the exposed flesh. It's very sallow and grayed because of just the lack of water and the dehydration in his basement. Although his skin does, when you touch it, has a moist feel to it, and it's probably just because of the mildew in the basement. And as you continue to scan down the body, you know, he's on his face, you know, face down on the ground. You kind of see on his right leg a start of like a gash around his thigh, but you can't actually see it because he's on his stomach.
Guys, I just had a thought.
Yeah.
So I have the scroll of Revivify, but I can cast Revivify, and Revivify is on your spell list, so you should take this.
Okay. Great.
Also, can you help me roll over this body so I can see the gash in the leg?
Yeah, he's a small old man. I can do that.
Alright, cool.
So I'm going to do that.
So you roll the body over, which you realize that anybody here could have easily rolled it over by themselves. You lose a little respect for Flint because he can't roll over a body. Almost as if he was not at all attuned with death, but like he may have been at one point in his
But is not anymore.
Now he's kind of creeped out by it.
Yeah, and you actually see, unfortunately, as you roll him over, his kind of intestines just flop out onto the floor because his entire stomach is just ripped open. The flesh is all pulled up. There's old dried blood there. His intestines and everything are falling out because something has burrowed its way
Don't eat that.
into his stomach.
That's not food.
And
No.
you actually see his
You'd
leg,
be able to smell this. Is bad.
his right leg.
There's wax
There's
on
a
it.
You should be
very,
able to
very
see.
large gash in his right leg.
Mm.
And you can, why don't you make me a nature check? Because you are the druid.
Where is nature? 18.
You know that the gash in his leg that you can see is very large. There's no way this is done by any ordinary rat.
That is not an ordinary rat.
But all of
That's
the
a,
other,
that's a dead body.
all of the other bites that you see on his seem to be that of normal rats.
There's normal rats, and then there's not a normal rat.
I'm gonna take my torch red. I'm gonna want to find something to cover him up with. You know, some sort of tarp or something.
And I'm gonna say at this point, what you guys hear is like coming from all around you.
They're rats.
Spirit Guardians!
Roll for initiative. You're making too much noise to get to jump on anybody.
11,
12. Ha
16, plus your initiative.
Oh, 16!
Okay, why don't you? You had 16.
I had 12.
I had
You had
11.
Oh, I had 16. That was me. So the rats have.
That was scrolls. You're supposed to tell me scrolls.
Scrolls!
Yeah, I know. You did it.
Scrolls!
I did
We
now.
have spirit guardians!
No, we don't.
Yes, I thought we had spirit guardians.
We did, but Ted said roll for initiative, which means the battle started, and I don't get to do that.
Okay, so coming from the walls all around you, you see two large groups of rats, which you can only be described as a swarm. Let's get something a little bigger to represent the swarms. What do we got? Look at this. No respect for the DM here.
I'm
Come on.
sorry. I'm turning it
That's
off.
right. My phone's dead,
My
so I couldn't
sister.
even interrupt if I wanted.
Monica.
I'm
Monica.
playing Dungeons and Dragons. God damn it.
Monica, stop it. These lovely town carolers, to be festive, they're gonna be the swarms of rats.
Oh.
And
Very festive.
these guys are gonna be three much. Oh, we'll go with the. We have red. No, we don't have any red. These kobolds. We'll go with these guys. We'll go right here, and one right over here.
Come underneath the stairs. It was a rat.
It was a rat.
The whole time.
Those rat bastards.
Yeah.
So
Then we got distracted by the spider webs.
these
And then the dead body.
these rats, you notice, much larger than any rat most of you have ever seen. They are about the size of a dog, about a 40-pound dog, but there is bony. Would you put your phone on vibrate?
Sorry, it's the same. It's Monica.
Yeah, well, Monica is not being respectful. Put your
She's
phone
not.
on.
She's not. I'm
What's
gonna
the-
punch
Is she
her.
I'm
watching?
gonna punch
Right
her. No,
in the
she's not. But if
face.
she was,
We'll
I
do
would.
it.
She must have stole.
Unless she was here. Then
You
we
can
could.
punch her.
Well,
But if she ever doesn't show up, we'll
I
punch her.
think if this keeps up, gonna have to start making up penalties in the game for phones going off.
Oh.
She texted me to say, call her real quick.
I can't. We're fighting rats.
Call her in a little while.
We'll take a break in a bit.
Knock her unconscious, then she can call her.
No,
No,
I'm
because
not
then we'll just bring you back up, so it wouldn't work anyway.
So these
Nothing.
3 larger rats that you can see, they are about the size of, say, like a Labrador. They're very big, but you also notice weird kind of large bony protrusions, like kind of almost like plated armor on top of their head and on their arms and like on the back legs. Like they have a little, like obviously a lot tougher and stronger than any other rat.
These
you've
are
ever
awesome rats.
Dire rats.
I want.
Can we
one.
make them our army?
I don't.
Can we train them to become our army?
You probably.
What? These rats murdered this guy.
So
Yeah,
they
the
were
3 kind of larger rats, it's their turn first. So they're all gonna close, one on each of you. So if you can do that for me. So these kind of rats, they scurry along the ground and
Oh,
they
God.
come right up and they get real close to you.
Not like this.
And they and as they get closer, you guys, I would say, actually, you don't because you can't smell anything. So never mind.
No. Can we take them out?
I mean, you have that would be metagame. You'd have no reason to do that.
Yeah, true. All right. Fair
But
point. You're right.
good, you know, A for effort.
I'm sure.
So they kind of actually, why don't you all make me?
I is a learning.
Why don't you all make me perception checks at disadvantage because you're distracted by the fact that these rats are here.
I'm gonna say I'm
Twice.
at
You're gonna roll that d20 twice and take the lower number.
Okay.
6.
11.
Well. Oh wait. Add things up.
That was the lower. The 12 was the lower,
Yes.
and then plus your perception.
Got it. 7. No.
19.
7. 19.
Okay, so you guys are just like, holy shit, rats!
Did you see
and-
them rats?
And
I'm currently being
and-
attacked.
By
and
rats.
Clyde, being just this avatar of nature, is just like, guys, it's just rats.
It's rats.
And she's like, but wait a minute, something's off. And she notices that there are, not only are these rats a little bit larger with these kind of bony plated armor protrusions, there are disease kind of like pustules that she can see all over them to say that these are not just regular rats. These rats are probably carrying some sort of plague or disease. So something to be mindful of.
They're plague rats. Just say
And
Like rats.
she manages to tell you that right as they all kind of almost as if controlled by some sort of greater hive mind just attack you all at once.
Sneaky rats.
Sneaky rats.
So
I don't like
let's
these rats.
Sneaky rats.
so first one attacks Theren and gets a 23.
Of course.
So that's gonna hit, and
Yes,
it's
it
gonna do. So it kind of swirls up to you, and you see it kind of sniffing around your leg, and it finds a little chink in your arm, and it just bites right in. Those big, nasty yellow rat teeth just clamp right down on the chink in the bottom of your armor there, and you are gonna take
How do I do that?
7 points of piercing damage,
No.
and you need to make me a Constitution saving throw.
18.
Yeah.
All right,
Once you get
that's
to
that.
number, you-
All right.
Uh,
I can do that.
So the next one kind of is running over and it's looking at Flint, and it's kind of weird because you could tell that it's not used to seeing things as almost as small as it. You're much shorter than things it's encountered in the
I'm
past.
still medium.
So it comes in and it kind of goes in to try to bite at the bottom of your foot, and you see this. Even though you're shocked by the rat, it's clearly telegraphed, so you're able to just kind of nudge it away with your shoe, and it misses.
Whew.
And then this one comes in, and it seems a little hesitant because it feels this kind of presence because you're a druid, but it seems like, again, it's like it has a natural 1. So it's just terrified of this power of nature, and it's just like, and it won't go anywhere near you, and it goes to Clyde. It's your turn.
Okay. I don't know what to do.
You should.
You could attack. You could turn into an
I could
animal.
turn into a snake and
You
eat
could
them
turn
rats.
into a giant constrictor.
But they
snake.
got diseases.
Don't
I don't
eat
want to eat them.
Constrictor.
I could constrict them.
Pop them. Yeah. Ice knife would be fine.
Cast a spell on them.
Cast a
I
spell.
know. I don't know what to try.
There's so many good ones.
I know.
I wouldn't do the tidal wave in here.
No, that'd be a poor
Don't do
choice.
tidal wave.
That would
in
be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I also, I'm
Reduce
just
flame.
going to remind you that Ice Knife does do AoE damage, and it would damage all of you.
Yeah.
It's her first real game, so I'm going to remind her that that's a thing, so she doesn't kill
Yeah.
all of you guys.
That would be a
Not
poor-
kill you,
poor
but
way.
damage
Damage us. Ow!
You can also you have your staff. You could just hit them with your staff.
Could she use Shillelagh and then hit it?
She has a magic staff
I
of
have
the woodlands,
magic staff.
which is actually better than her using Shillelagh.
Alright,
It's a plus
so
2
I'll do
staff.
that.
Nice.
So go ahead. You see the attack bonus that's next to.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to roll the d20 and add that.
Okay. 20. What?
Okay, that's way more than enough than you need. So why don't you go ahead and roll the damage?
Which is
1d8 plus 5. Okay.
Plus. Yeah, is out plus 5, right? Because it's a plus 2.
That's a 4. So now what do I do?
Add
Add
5.
5. 9! Got it!
Okay. I need a pencil.
I'm doing so well, guys.
Look at you go.
You hit him. That's important.
So
That's
I was
step 1.
rolling so bad
Dude.
on Saturday.
So
It was so. We had.
it was almost Theren level bad.
Really?
It was
No.
so bad.
Let's be honest.
Oh.
But it was bad.
Well, I'm still alive, so you'll probably be alright.
So the other two now it is Flint's turn.
Spirit Guardian?
No.
No?
Not yet.
I don't need to waste Spirit Guardians on rats.
Not these rats.
Not these rats anyway.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Green Flame Blade.
On which one?
That one.
Okay, so that does not close enough to jump.
No.
Oh no, yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
it's close
so
enough
it's
to
just
jump.
gonna-
So it's just gonna.
It's gonna jump into nothingness.
Okay.
It's just gonna be a flame.
Flame Sword.
Flame sword.
Ah, fuck, I'm a dick. 11.
Oh, that's gonna miss.
Ah,
I'm sorry, I forgot. So as Clyde brought up her staff of the woodlands, which looks like just a naturally growing tree, as if it's still growing even though it's a staff. She kind of brings it down and kind of just clubs the rat in the side, but it kind of skims off of that side armor. The impact clearly denting hurting it, and it kind of scurries back a little bit, but it still is okay. And seeing this, and obviously seeing the kind of trouble that Clyde had over the previous adventure, and maybe perhaps an attempt to show off his prowess and not using Spirit Guardians, Flint decides that I'm going to take my Staff of Defense and show you that it's not just for defense.
I don't have Staff of Defense.
I thought you did.
No, I sold it.
You did? What did
You're
you what are
using
you
your
using?
axe now.
Facts.
So that's a plus.
Woodland
So even with the
axe.
plus 1, it was only an 11, huh?
Yeah.
I rolled a 4.
So he doesn't have the Staff of Defense anymore.
I traded it for a saddle for...
Should have done Spirit Guardian.
A battle
saddle for
saddle.
you?
Battle
Yeah,
Saddle
Yeah,
for
battle
Aslan.
saddle for Aslan.
So he
Which is
brings down his axe and he's like, I've got this green flame blade coming down, but as he gets closer, he notices a wooden crate and a barrel to his right, and his axe just right into that.
No!
And the barrel goes splinters everywhere. But apparently the axe just craved the wood that it hasn't been able to vanquish in months.
Well, I'm gonna give you some wood axe.
And now it goes to Theren.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I've got a torch in one hand.
Yep.
And I'll have my longsword in my other hand, so I'll be down to an 18 AC for right now.
Okay.
I'm not using my shield currently because I have
Like
a
it.
torch. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stab this rat that just bit me with my sword with 13.
That will hit. So draw that sword, come to stab it. It's still kind of latched onto your leg, so you kind of get it in the mouth and you kind of flip it off of your leg.
Oh, yeah. And that is going to do 6 damage.
Okay.
Then with my offhand, I can use that as a bonus attack.
Yep, as a bonus action.
Yeah.
We still have another attack.
Yeah. So I'm going to
And
use my
you-
second attack on
Sure.
him.
So,
Natural one.
so you flip it off, and it kind of scurries back, and you go to stab at it, and it just kind of like shirks out of the way, and your sword goes into the dirt, and you pull it out, and now it's just kind of. This is a nice
Dirty.
clean sword, and it's kind of dirty now.
That
But you still have you can use a bonus attack with the torch if you want.
Bonus attack with the torch.
You can either attack the swarm. You could actually throw the torch if you want behind you, or try to hit the rat that's on you as well.
Yeah,
whichever
I
one
see
works.
that swarm of rats behind me, and my torch in my left hand. I'm gonna toss it at him with a 13.
That will hit.
Oh,
So
right.
why don't you roll me let's say a D6 of fire damage, plus your strength modifier.
All right, 8 damage.
Okay.
Or
so
7 damage for my strength modifier. Sorry, because
7
I'm magic
damage
weapons, so I'm used to
to
5.
the swarm of rats. So you 7.
You forget your character sheet.
Yes, I did.
So you see the torch kind of hits them, and it kind of a bunch of them are singed by their fur, and they kind of squeal back and roll over and die, and then like But as soon as that kind of happens, the rest of the rats kind of over top of it, and the light goes out.
Oh.
And now it is the swarm's turn. So see, just climbing over that, kind of coming over, and they actually move into your space, and the rats are kind of circling all around your body, trying to find spots in your armor where they can get in to bite you. And they, even with not having your shield, you kind of see them starting to climb to try to get in your armor.
Stuck
You
in
just
my
kind
hair
of
shirt.
they start climbing, and they find like a little spot in your armor where they can get into your armor, and you see as if they're going for your hair shirt, and like you manage to brush most of them off, and 2 of them are actually trying to get in your shirt, but seemingly out of nowhere, in a streak of white fur, Mouse comes up and just knocks them both out.
All right, good job, Mouse.
There's a mouse!
I'm gonna pet him. Right?
It's in his hair shirt.
And
We'll talk about it later.
the second swarm kind of right up behind starts
is what
climbing
it
up
is.
the back of Flint's armor.
And
You kind of just are able to spin around, and most of them were kind of on... Do you have a cloak?
yes, of patches.
You do. So they actually seem to like get there and they're getting stuck in the patches, and as you spin around to see it, most of them like flick and hit into the wall, and then they come scurry back over and reform. And now it goes back to the dire rats at the beginning of the turn. So the one that was going after Theren, who tried before, bit him, got stabbed in the mouth. You can see it's got blood trickling down the corner of its mouth, and its lower jaw is kind of like dislodged a little bit. It's still going to try to go in and kind of get you back.
All right.
And he's going to kind of run in, and again, you just see this coming along, and your sword's still kind of in the dirt. You kind of just bring it up with the flat of the blade and clap it in the face, and
Nice.
it moves off.
Cool.
So the one that's next to Flint goes in to attack with a 17, so that misses. So again, coming in there and still in a spin move from getting the rats off your back, the cloak kind of wraps around its head, and it just like goes to swing, and it can't see because it's wrapped up in the fabric. And the last one, who was terrified before, kind of you see as if a rat could steal its nerves to try to attempt to attack Clyde, and it just is like can't do it. And it goes to, and it's Clyde's turn.
I'm
There's one.
not a huge fan of the
Oh.
Just the Cool Ranch ones.
What?
I ate too many when I was a kid, and I threw up,
Oh, God.
which I was avoiding to say. But then you said what? So I was like, well, this is my reason.
Well, no, it's just like 9 times out of 10 people don't like Cool Ranch is the go-to.
Oh yeah, no, I loved
Oh, I
Cool
like
Ranch
that.
for a while, and then I ate too many.
Do you like them more than Cool Ranch?
Yeah.
You guys are weird.
Well,
It's your turn.
More so. Sorry.
That's
Sweet
okay.
and spicy chili.
Yes.
Really?
So
Cool Ranch is my favorite.
All right.
All right.
Closely followed by sweet and spicy.
So you have this guy who's
That's
just
not your
he's
cheese.
trying to get at you, but he's just too afraid of the wrath of nature which will bring down upon
Which
him.
I will, because I'm gonna hit him with my tree staff again.
All right, let's do it. So you bring back the staff,
Oh, that'll hit.
And 8, so 22.
and you bring that staff down. It finds purchase on his head, clocks him right in the head. His eyes kind of do one of those cartoony like. And why don't you go ahead and roll damage?
10.
All right, so 10 points of damage, and not only is there the weird cartoony eyes thing, but you actually manage to break the bone protrusion, that kind of shield on its head, and that kind of breaks and falls away.
Nice.
So now its head is exposed,
Nice.
and it's going to go to Flint.
Green Flint Blade!
Okay,
On the
and
dire
that,
rat.
and that will actually jump to the swarm. As
Okay,
well.
cool.
So trying moving and saying I've got this. There's no wood around me anymore.
There's no way this will end poorly. 15.
All right, so you bring your axe down on the dire rat, and the flames kind of flicker as it's coming down. It cracks the dwarf right in the top of the head. The flames kind of all over its body, and then jump into the swarm. So why don't you go ahead and roll me some damage here?
Oh yeah, boy. So.
Give me the dire rat damage first.
What's up?
The dire rat damage first.
Dire rat damage first. That is
16.
13. What? I'm stupid. 12. 16.
16 damage. All right, and then to the swarm.
12.
All right. So the fire that you hear, just this horrible screeching, as all half of the swarm of the other rats just seems to burn away, and there seems to be roughly about half as many. They're still there, and they're still ready to try to attack you on their turn, but there's definitely significantly less. Theren.
Alright, cool. Can I get my shield out as a bonus action? Or
That's an action. I'll say you can draw it as an action. Or not as an action, as a free action. So you can draw it fine.
So I got my shield back out.
So
now,
your AC is back up to 20.
which is nice. And then I am going to stab this rat right in front of me.
Alright.
I wanna-
Why don't we just roll your 2 attacks first?
Fuck that
Yeah.
rat.
Cool. 18s.
Both 18s?
Yep.
So,
That's how I roll.
you know, you, after having kind of slapped him in the side of the face there, and he kind of like jostled back by that, you can just bring it down, and once across this side, it sinks in not too deep, but deep enough to do some damage, and then you kind of go the other side, and 2 cuts, and now blood is kind of dripping out both sides of its neck.
Nice.
When you
For
give me the,
17 damage.
Okay, it is, now it's kind of like hunched down on the ground. It's still alive, it is still, and now it just looks angry, and most of the blood that's kind of on the side of it and on its head is kind of dripping down into its eyes, which still seem to be glowing with this fury and hatred for you for whatever reason.
You guys ever hear of rabies?
No.
And,
Okay.
No.
yeah, that's,
I got cure wounds though. Is that good?
I have no idea.
and that will be your turn unless you have anything you can do with bonus action, I don't know. Okay, and then it's going to be the swarm's turn. So that swarm is still on top of you. Theren is going to try to hit you. Again,
That's a swarm. Yeah.
they just you know, start climbing up, and you just kind of use your shield and just bash them all off as they start to climb up,
Nice.
not being able to find purchase on you anywhere. And the other one's going to go for Flint, and again, the rat that's kind of stuck in his cape, it's kind of thrashing around trying to get out of his cloak, and in doing so, it actually knocks all of the other swarm out of the way, and it doesn't do any damage to you.
Nice.
Goes back around to the
Dire.
the dire rats, and it has now shaken itself loose, and the one that is now kind of bleeding, and you see it's kind of crawling at half speed, comes over to bite down on Theren for a 18, so that misses. So now having your shield out in front of you, you see it kind of, you know, an otherworldly seeming, like it's going down, it's getting close to dying, and it kind of uses that to try to lunge up at you and jump at your face, and you're just like, get out of here, not even a challenge.
Nice.
So, shaken loose from your cloak, he tries to bite you, and he just can't seem to do it. He's still flustered the fact that he was defeated by a piece of cloth, living in filth his entire life. This rat just seems completely confused. So, once again, dire rat number 3, kind of, you see it kind of shiver, and like this goes all the way down its spine, all the way out its tail, and it rushes in, and seemingly whatever kind of unnatural force is driving this, it manages to rush in and actually get a bite off on you.
Boo.
And it's gonna do a total of 4 points of damage. So you just, however you want to do that, and you need to make me a Constitution saving throw. So you're gonna take that, and where it says saves at the top there,
Where?
Constitution,
If you don't have it in, it's
it's
just
just
your
your
constitution.
Constitution modifier.
11.
Nothing happens.
Alright.
You kind of felt this.
Oh,
you
she gets a
saw-
+4 to it anyway, because she's within
10 feet
10
of you.
feet. Yes.
Okay, so you got to remember that that's
Yes.
a thing for you too. So as you felt it bite down on you, and you were able to just kind of shake it loose because it didn't get a really good bite on you.
No?
But as it bit, one of the kind of the open wound, one of the pustules on its face broke and landed on your open wound. But as you swiped it away, you managed to get that before anything could kind of get inside. And now it is your turn.
That is gross.
Nice.
So you've got this guy. You just pushed him off of your arm. He's right in front of you.
Just whack him with the stick again.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, natural 1.
That means you miss.
I miss.
So you know, feeling this hatred for, it's weird because it's nature and you're usually so in tune with this, but it just bit you and that pisses you off. So
Especially with the pustule.
with the
Yeah.
pustule, so you're like,
That's
you
gross.
go to like bring your staff down on it, and as you get to about this point, you kind of see that there's still some of that green shit on your arm from the pustule. You're like, oh god, and swipe it off, but in doing so, just wide swing, completely miss.
Rats.
Flint, your turn.
Spirit Guardians.
Ah, okay,
Finally!
there it is.
Come
So.
on, Flint.
I want to do something else.
We were
No,
doing
I'm
okay. You were bored. with this fight, so you were like, die, rats.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like,
Yeah.
Ghosts, please.
I've
Yes,
had enough.
please.
I've had enough of your
This
bullshit
was
rats.
fun, and now go for it.
Alright, so they all
I'm
have
done
to
with
make
it. I'm done with
a
this
saving
now.
throw, correct?
Wisdom saving throw.
And that hits everything there, right?
Yep.
Okay. So wisdom saving throw, they get a
Yeah,
0.
everybody's in there.
Go.
DC 16.
Okay, DC 16. I just want to see what they get. They all have 0, so it's whatever I roll. Because they're not proficient in saves. So
Except when we get so good at simple math.
Oh
like
yeah,
this
you
game.
really
It
do.
helps.
triple eights. Oh wait, no, 18. So I'm gonna say 1, 2. So the one that was on Clyde, that one passes its saving throw, and the
Okay.
2 swarms, the one that's on you manages to pass because it's at the center of the Spirit Guardians. So in an all too familiar motion, this kind of, you see him kind of concentrate in something you've both seen him do countless times before, and these bluish countless times. That was more for Theren. These kind of bluish white, kind of spectral, nondescript faced armored guardians with big two-handed shields in front of them, all kind of whirl out in a spinning motion, all hitting all of the rats as they circle outwards, hitting everything. And why don't you roll me your damage?
18,
Okay.
and the 2 that passed take 9.
Okay, so the one that she hit takes 9, and the one that you hit takes 9. Alright, so as these guardians are swirling out, you see 3 almost simultaneously, similar to the tri-prong attack of the 3 dire rats at the beginning, all flit out, and then just that shield just comes down, and you hear a sickening crunch and just this wet sound as the skull crunches down on all 3 of those rats, and blood squirts out sideways, pustules popping everywhere, but blocked by the guardian shields from hitting anybody. They all die, and the one that Theren had hit with the torch, one single solitary guardian swings around and just kind of, with the shield over top, just pushes down and crushes all of them. Just you hear kind of sickening little pops, like hundreds of pop, 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 as you
Like
hear
popcorn, but gross.
as all of the rats' heads are just bursting. All that remains is the last swarm of rats that is swarming all over Flint. And Theren, it is your turn.
Oh, I'm gonna say, ew, those are gross. So I'm gonna come over to you, as I've got no rats around me, and I'm going to attack the swarm of rats that is surrounding you.
Okay.
With my sword.
Alright, so I'm going to roll your 2 attacks.
Yeah, those are both hit.
Okay. And why don't you roll me the damage?
All right. 18.
So, obviously there are rats swarming all over Theren or Flint rather, and you come over with your sword, and you see a momentary look of fear in Flint's eyes as he's been all too many times a victim of you swinging a sword at him.
And I've thrown my sword on a couple occasions.
And you kind of run in to slash, and he kind of like this and pulls the cloak up, and there's just like a ball of rats, and you just skewer all of those, and then kind of puts that down and relaxes a little bit, and then your kind of eyes kind of focus down, and you kind of go again, and he kind of ducks, and there was one single rat left on his head, and it just William Tell right off the top.
Ha! Did you see that? Of course you did. You were right there. And they're all dead now?
They are all dead now.
Great!
Am I dead?
No, you're cool.
You're good.
Alright, so I'm gonna de-skewer my sword
And
with
just
the
like-
rats.
And you hear the thud of like 6 rats hitting the ground.
Okay.
Yep, and then I'm gonna wipe my sword off on the dead pile of rats, if it's not still too bloody to do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Prestidigitation.
Alright. Alright,
All
great.
right, please.
So we should collect a whole bunch of rat tails, as there's a whole couple swarms of rats that we could collect the tails from.
The ones that burned.
They're on
We still
fire.
get the tails because they wouldn't it all disintegrate?
Let's find out.
Yeah, why don't you guys?
While you guys do that, I'm just gonna walk around the room
With spirit guards.
with spear guardians, so
Make
they
sure.
will attack anything that comes within 15 feet of me, because there still might be rats in the walls.
It could be.
So I do that.
Okay, so you guys are searching. So he's kind of casually walking around. which you guys both notice, how did he get out of cutting the tails off all of these rats? They both realize that. As he walks around.
Door through that.
Yeah. So you begin cutting the tails. Obviously, all the dire rats, no problem getting the tails. And the two swarms, let's say there's maybe... When you both roll me 2d20. You can just roll yours twice.
Unless you want
I got one. Oh.
That's a 12.
And add those two up.
Use this one instead, because...
What's that?
What? He gave you a 12. He gave you a 12-sided dice instead of a 20, which...
So,
Take it.
okay.
No. Oh, use the white one.
No, use that one.
No, wait.
Be my friend.
Ha! 13's pretty good.
Alright, so add those two numbers up for both of you.
31. And...
32.
32.
Mark that down. That's how many tails you get.
Alright.
Nice.
Total of 50 rats per swarm, roughly.
Nice.
That's what you find. And you
You
walk
bad
around
for
and
these
you
rats?
do hear...
I don't.
You don't really hear any sounds. You just hear the guardians, the soft kind of whir as they spin around you. And nothing really seems to happen. So.
Sure.
Cool. So guys, do you want to, I don't know, do you think we should try and like plug up the holes that these giant dire rats came out
What
of?
should we do
Well,
with the body?
I think
Still a
maybe...
dead body.
Yeah. Well, right now, I think that we should cover up this dead body in a tarp. Yeah, kind of keep it tight, because we're going to have to leave through there. But I feel like that there might be more stuff worth investigating down here.
Alright.
So you guys starting to plug holes? I'm sorry, I missed that. You're plugging holes, or what were you doing? You were
I'm-
investigating?
yeah, I want to see...
Anything?
Yeah, I want to investigate and see if there's like any other tunnels or anything in the place.
Sure.
How is a 15 going to do me?
Alright, well, you see there was, obviously there are a handful of kind of rat-sized tunnels, smaller rat-sized tunnels all around the room.
Mm-hmm.
There are very larger tunnels, and there is a large tunnel right kind of on this side next, actually,
No, that's
there's a
fair.
large tunnel there, but make me a perception check.
7.
That's a pile of rags.
It's a big pile of rags right here.
Are any of them big enough to use as a tarp?
Are any of these
I can
rags?
press the digitape,
Clean them up.
clean them up.
Sure, yeah, I'm going to start taking the rags because we want to wrap up his body. Alright, great.
As you get closer and you look at it, you start pulling on the rag, and it turns out it's not actually rags, it's just one big kind of ball of material.
Oh,
Yeah, that
alright, cool. Well, I'm going to pull it out.
So, yeah, you work on that, and actually make me an athletics check.
Oh, well, that's a thing that I could probably do. 18.
Alright, so you feel resistance on the tarp as a piece of material, and it's like almost like it's pulling back, and then you finally just wrench it, and you hear like a ripping sound, and as you're pulling the fabric out and looking at the bottom, you actually notice two large kind of gashes down the bottom half of the fabric.
You guys ever seen gashes like this before?
You guys make me nature checks.
I'm going to have guidance on Clyde.
Okay.
What are we doing, nature?
Yep.
Nature. 17.
12.
Should have guidance on myself.
You, even with your 17, you're not you're a city guy.
I
Doesn't really strike out to you too much. Clyde, even though you got a pretty low roll, you kind of notice that the kind of gashes in this fabric almost seems to match up, and you realize this too with that investigation check too, that it almost seems to be similar to the size of the teeth of the dire rats you slayed, only larger.
Bigger one.
Can I compare these marks to the marks on his leg?
Yes.
Sure. Why don't you make me and this would be an investigation check.
Alright. 6.
It definitely could be.
Definitely could be.
Definitely could be.
What do you think with your investigation check?
We're gonna find out.
I gave you a 3.
Okay. So that'd be 5. 21.
Yes, you definitely think whatever caused these gashes is what caused the gashes
Definitely
in Jim
the same
O'Leary's
thing.
leg.
Cool. So I'm going to lift him up. You guys slide in underneath him and then we'll wrap him up.
Alright.
Why don't you all make me perception checks?
7.
16.
That's a 9.
That's a 9?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Whichever
16.
Okay.
You see the
Yeah.
button on the bottom.
You
So,
both
like,
kind of, you hear kind of a very low kind of chittering, similar to the rat chittering that you heard before, but much deeper, more bassy, as if, you know, the resonation of this seems to be from something significantly larger. Yeah.
We should get it.
We gotta wrap this guy up though.
Yeah.
Alright.
Let's finish that, and
Yeah.
then I mean,
Big rat.
There's a big rat.
there's a big rat that's gonna come.
So, as you guys are
There's a big rat that's
wrapping up kind of Jim O'Leary in this, in the fabric here, and then you hear like a accelerated pace, and then bursting forth from where the rag was through the ground comes a large, much larger than the rats you fought before, equally as formidable looking, but probably twice the size, twice as hardy, with twice as much bony plate. And why don't you make me a nature check? Because you seem to be the one that's least phased by these things.
I hate rats.
Oh,
This
No,
thing-
you got nothing.
no. I'm
That's
sorry.
a giant rat.
That's a giant rat. Biggest rat I've ever seen.
You know what? Why don't you make me a perception check?
Okay.
Without guidance, just a perception check.
Natural.
one.
Wow!
Fuck me.
That's a big rat,
Yeah,
right?
it's a big ass rat.
That's a
Can I get a natural one too?
Let's see.
If you roll a natural 1, I'm going to say you all go momentarily blind.
19.
Ah.
Alright, you don't go momentarily blind,
That's good.
but you don't really pick
I
up
would
anything.
really, yeah.
So it's just like, and just kind of lets out this big roar. Why don't you all make me wisdom saving throws?
+4 for everyone. Hey, how about a 6 with my +4 to my wisdom saving throw?
Holy shit, dude.
I know. I
18.
don't know what to
So
do.
I do this plus 4 plus that.
Correct.
Nine.
Oh, wait, nope.
Nope.
This.
Plus that.
A higher number.
It's a higher number.
Like 20?
30.
30.
Holy
Solid
shit,
30.
30?
30.
Because I got
Like,
18 and
it
then
just
plus
kind
4.
of, so what did you get? 18?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, 18.
And you got a 6?
I got a 6.
So this thing just lets out this monstrous roar.
See, I'm turned away from it.
And instinctually, even though he's apparently turned away from it, Theren kind of like meeps, like like a little girl, scared of this thing, and you are frightened of this rat.
Oh.
You kind of shake it off, and as it happens, it roars at Clyde, and with a massive 30, she roars back. And
Like that?
like that.
Poor
And
Mrs.
why don't you
O'Leary
make me
upstairs.
another wisdom saving throw?
All right. How does a 23 look?
Because of Clyde's very impressive roar back, it actually brings you back to reality and snaps
Oh,
you
there goes
from
gravity.
your wisdom. You can have a D30 of inspiration.
Oh, wow. All right.
And it snaps you back, and you are no longer frightened.
All right,
But
cool.
everybody can roll for initiative.
11.
21.
7.
Also, Spirit Guards is still up, so I think I take damage from when it came in.
Yes, maybe. Not sure. Actually, what's the duration on Spirit Guardian?
10 minutes. Up to 10 minutes.
Right.
Damn. Probably still up then.
Maybe. It depends on how long it took him to walk all the way around the room, how long it took you to cut off all those rat tails, how long it took you to wrap up, find the fabric, wrap up.
Pull it and then, yeah.
and
It's
then-
your call.
Your
It
choice.
is my call.
It's your
I
call.
know. I'm thinking. 10 minutes is a long time. I mean, you cut off
I got 32 rat tails.
32 rat tails plus the 3.
Oh, shit.
You
That's
didn't do
true.
any of that helping either.
Yeah.
A lot.
You just hung out while we did
Hang
that.
out. I was doing things.
Why don't you
Yeah,
make me
clearly you didn't do a good job there.
a percentile roll
Okay.
on if you get between a 75 and 100, it'll stay up for another round.
Okay.
If not, it's gone.
Nope.
Okay, so
Oh.
Spirit Guardians is not up. So, but it doesn't matter. The initiative is as such. So, Flint, you are up first.
Spirit Guardians!
Sure. I mean, it's. Which one's here? Can this caroler be
The
giant
carolers
rat?
are-
Yeah, well, these are gone. We
The
can go to
carolers are the giant rat.
Actually,
You could use a bear.
You could use a bear.
I have a skunk.
Oh, that
That works.
perfectly.
Yeah.
It's a smelly rat.
Yeah.
You should probably face it.
What was the wisdom saving throw?
16.
Alright, it passes. So roll your damage. So the Guardians, once again, having just recently dissipated, they all... And if they had faces, you could see a face of like, God damn it, again with this guy.
All day. That's all we do.
8 they would take. I rolled 16.
Okay, so 8 damage. Okay. Alrighty. So Theren, it goes to you.
Oh my god, what a rat.
Bigger than any rat you've ever seen. Strikingly close to Aslan size.
Really? That's crazy. I grew up as an urchin in Waterdeep, and this is by far the biggest rat I've seen.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to attack it with a 19.
That will hit.
I am going to smite this rat, as it is
Ooh.
terrifying.
Fair enough. I will warn you. It is covered in pustules again, and the power of the smiting may cause them to pop.
It's too late. I'm already doing it.
All right, fair enough.
Alright,
I like it.
14, 17, 22.
22 damage. Holy crap. All right, why don't you make me several of them pop. Several of them get cauterized by the radiant light, but one solo one from the back kind of flies over. Make me a dexterity saving throw. I'll say DC 10 to raise your shield and block it.
Alright.
Can I do?
Hey, we're fine.
All right, so you see, like almost like
I can use a flamethrower.
Matrix style. You see the pustule, and you're like,
No.
knock it out of the way.
Nice.
All right.
And then I will attack it again.
All right.
And then
With a 20.
Okay, that will hit.
Okay, and that will do 8 damage that time.
All right. So you brought it down. You saw kind of like most of the stuff on its face. Just they're all burnt off. All the pustules are burnt and gone. And it's kind of like you can see it's something that lives in the dark. So the bright light is actually a bit of something for it to take in. And then, you know, as it's kind of wheeling back, you kind of managed to get in right here in the side, and it kind of,
Oh yeah.
it's still hanging in there, but it took how much? I'm sorry, was that 5 or?
No, that was another
So is
8.
it just
Another 8?
20 or
filter or
30
add?
total.
You don't have anything to it.
Okay,
So it's just those two.
and now it is your turn,
Okay, I'm
Clyde.
gonna cast Produce Flame.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and make an attack roll for me?
21.
Okay, that hits. So why don't you go ahead and roll the damage?
I need another.
That plus 2
10.
staff. That's sweet.
Alrighty, so it is.
Yeah.
It gets hit, you know, it's been, most of the pustules on its face have been cauterized. It's like kind of hanging in, and then all of a sudden this fireball comes and it hits it, and it, like, you just smell burnt rat hair all in the air.
It's okay. We have nose
You
plugs.
don't smell anything, you're right.
We
Nicely
got the nose
done.
plugs.
We're doing
So,
fine.
it's...
We all talk funny now, though.
You do talk funny. You do talk funny. And it's like, it's hurting. It is clinging to life as if it's trying to actually make me a nature check.
Everyone?
No, we'll just say just Clyde at this
Okay.
point, because it's your turn.
If Ranrak Rag tried to fill up his nose with wax, we wouldn't
He
have
might
any
die.
wax left.
He might-
Yeah, it just keeps filling
All
in.
right, so you recognize, having been terrified by the rat before, the fact that it is still, it's not typical for rats to fight to the death. This rat looks like as if it's almost about to die. The only way that a rat would typically fight to the death is if it was protecting something. And at that moment, you recognize that this rat is actually a female rat.
Oh, did we kill all its babies?
And I was also gave you that roll because before to see if you would notice, because you have spent a lot of time with females recently, so you would notice. And it
Oh, no.
and so you notice that, but now it is its turn, and having you just set it on fire.
Spirit Guardians.
Does it take damage when
At the
you first
beginning of
cast
its
it?
Beginning, when it enters the space.
And then
That's
at
one.
the beginning of each of its
Beginning
turns.
I feel so bad for him. It's a mom.
It attacked us.
But it's a mom.
It did kill this old guy.
It got a 20 on its
just
saving throw.
Providing for its family. It's hard being a single mom.
Hey, I'm not gonna fight that. But it did murder this old guy.
It will take 4 damage.
Wow. So the guardian kind of swings out and it runs in with the shield, and the rat kind of just like looks at it and gives it like this big dire rat queen stink eye, and it like even the guardian seems to shudder back, and it like
Doesn't even have eyes. That's how good the stink eye is.
it like kind of like bumps it, and it's down, and it's crawling on the ground, and it kind of arches its back up a little bit, and then comes in and goes for Clyde.
No. I'm sorry, Mama Rat.
That is a 25. So it's gonna do 2d.
Wait, what do I do now?
Well,
Yeah,
he's gonna
okay.
see how much
Okay.
damage.
It's gonna do 4 and 4, 8 points of piercing damage, and you need to make me a Constitution saving throw.
There. That was terrible. I made it worse.
Thank you for hosting us, Dream Punch. Thank you very much.
Wait, what am I looking at?
Constitution modifier.
That was 2.
Plus,
16.
plus 4.
Plus 4, 20.
All right, so
Look at
nothing
that.
happens.
Great.
Hooray.
This is a great thing to have.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
And now it goes back around to Flint.
Oh, I guess I will, Guiding Bolt as a second level, that's a regular spell. It's a second level spell.
Okay.
Guiding Bolt is a second level spell.
Sure.
Dicks!
What do you
Here's
get?
a song I wrote.
See, you should totally be a bard.
I should totally
You
be
should be a bard.
bard.
That was the
13.
butt whistle? I mean,
So you know this kind of beam of holy light originates in your hand. You point at it. It comes down in this shining column, and the rat just kind of just like shakes it off and just kind of sneers at you with these big blood-filled dire rat eyes.
I sneer back.
It is not
Bitch.
impressed. Make me an intimidation check.
4.
All right, make me a wisdom saving throw.
no.
No. Plus 4 on that.
9.
With the 4?
Rolled a natural 1.
I think that's a natural failure.
I mean, if anyone had something they wanted to... Ah, fuck it.
All right, so
Rat. I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? We got all our heals left.
you are frightened by the rat. The stink eye is strong with this one, so you are frightened.
I'm gonna be a furry.
And hello,
F-word.
Jaren. Thank you, and again, thank you to Dream Punch for hosting us because we're getting additional viewers from their channel. So thank you very much.
Nice.
We're in a massive fight with the dire rat queen,
Ugh.
and
You
now
killed her baby.
it is
I don't know that they were her babies.
now
She
it
might
is
have just been
Theren's
watching.
turn.
Ah, great. Well, I will attack it twice.
Maybe she has a foster home for her
A
maybe.
16 and a 15.
They will both hit.
Alright, great. That will be for 23 damage.
All right, I'm gonna steal this one from Matt Mercer. But how do you want to do this?
Oh, I definitely want to cut off one of its back legs and then come through and cut off its head.
All right, so you cut off the back leg, and it kind of lets out this moan of just pain and motherly just
Oh.
upsetness and just
It's
sadness.
okay, Clyde.
And you hear just this, it's just kind of just death howl as the back leg gets sliced off and it falls down on one and it kind of bears its head back like that. And as you continue back through with that, you come back around the other way and sickening wet slice as it just and it catches for a second on the bone plate on the back of the neck, and you just continue to push through and snap. You hear the bone crack and it just continues tearing, ripping, and off soars the head and lands on the ground with just a.
That was gross.
That was gross!
Sorry about that.
But in like a great way.
And
Yeah, so
Clyde,
that
why
was
don't you
intense.
make me a perception check?
No, not for checks. Only saving throws.
I should know what these numbers are right now. 10.
All right, you do hear from the kind of tunnel at which it burst at you very, very faint squeaking, very light, high squeaking.
In the tunnel there are squeaks.
Mm.
Are there more things? Should we go kill
Maybe.
You can.
It was a mom.
It's open enough where you could climb down there if you wanted to look in there.
All right, I'm gonna go look.
Hey, can you clean my sword again?
So, as they're cleaning swords, cleaning each other's swords, very manly
Whoa.
stuff.
I got no problem.
You climb down into there and you actually see at the bottom, about 25 feet back in this cave, you actually see a nest of just tiny little baby rats.
Why is there a baby net? Why are there baby rats?
Hey, what's up with these rats? They're not like normal
They're not like
rats.
normal rats.
They're not.
They're not acting like normal rats.
At all.
They're not.
I'm gonna say with your knowledge of nature just in general, you don't have to roll, that this queen dire rat was probably commanding all of the other rats, but you also know that this was only in a means to protect her young, which she had had given birth to in the down in the tunnel. So these were all kind of drones to protect the new race of rats, and you killed all the drones and the mother, and now the babies are all left there.
So what do we do with the babies?
Okay,
You're
So
We can't leave them here.
queen rat.
I'm gonna
Protect
vote
the
right off the
babies.
bat for killing them because they're rats, and unfortunately, rats are vermin.
It's true.
And
But what?
They're babies.
And one day they're gonna be bigger rats,
They don't know better.
and then they're gonna.
plus,
kill
we got a
people.
B ward here
A B ward, yeah.
from Miss
We're
O'Leary.
gonna trade in baby rat tails for money.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably. That sounds like the best option here.
It's so sad.
Look, I mean, what do we do with? What do you want to do?
What do you want to do with them?
I don't know. Take them elsewhere.
And what? Bring them out into the wild where there's.
Where
How
there-
old are these
where
baby
there are
rats? Like
wolves
weeks
that are
old,
gonna eat
months
them?
I
old?
don't know. Maybe we can take care
like a
of them.
week old.
So
We
they're
can raise them and have
basically
our own
blind and
army.
completely helpless.
Correct. They are blind and completely helpless. They are week old
Can we
rats.
take them with us and train them to become our rat army?
I will tell you what. You
No.
want to do that?
I will tell you.
We should
No.
not do that.
Aww.
Alternatively, if you want to do
If
that,
you want to take like
you're
2 of them.
welcome to.
Would this be a good idea?
I've got a mouse.
You do have a mouse.
I do have a mouse.
It was in combat
That's
today.
right. The great
Well,
thing
the
about
problem
mice,
is if
though.
I have a baby rat around, my bird's gonna eat
The bird's
it.
gonna eat it.
My
Felix
bird's
is-
gonna eat it.
Felix
Keep
is a
your
piece of
mouse
shit.
close to you.
Yeah,
'cause
he
Felix
stays in my
will-
hair shirt.
I'll try to make sure Felix doesn't eat it. But Felix might eat it.
Felix is a shit.
He is. He does his job, but he's an asshole.
I'm pretty attached to this mouse.
Yeah. Just keep him away from
Jaren says 2 years later they come back with plague.
That's a good point.
Alright, fair enough. Okay, we can kill him.
All right.
Oh, it hurts. It
I'm
hurts my soul.
gonna take a torch.
I was just gonna Spirit Guardians.
Oh.
It's still up. Just walk over
It's
there.
where the like, shield is.
They die.
Okay.
We don't actually have to do anything. Just
So-
passively murdering
Technically,
all the baby
I
rats.
but,
So
I don't
you
know if
you
it's
crawl into this tunnel. She crawls back out. You crawl in, and as you get within 15 feet of them, from up above where you two are waiting, you hear just all these. You hear the little squeaking, squeak, 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 and you hear a, and then you just hear a and popping sounds as it's just all, and you just hear about 20 individual pops, and then sickening just.
I'm not gonna.
And then the
collect those
squeaks
tails.
have
I'm not
silence.
getting them.
I'm already in here. I'll get them tails.
All right, go grab them.
The-
You
It's
didn't
your
get
turn.
any tails from before. Oh, I get the queen tail.
Done. And there is no more squeaking. It is deadly silent, deathly silent.
There's
in
so
the
many
basement.
dead bodies.
Just mostly rats. After you collect those, let's throw all these rats. No, we should probably bring them out. and burn
Jaren
them.
says hi, wife slash
Let's do
friend,
that.
because you puffed your head in.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Fine.
I'm like, we can't just leave them in the
Yeah,
basement because
absolutely.
they're disease ridden. That
Yeah.
will
These are
spread like
playgrounds.
wildfire.
Okay, so we will.
The camera's on.
Well,
top of
first,
my-
first, what we should do.
You want to kill the old lady too?
Can I do it like that thing
She
like
can't
in...
see very good.
Giant constrictor
Don't
snake
do
and
that.
eater.
Wait. You can't kill.
We're,
this
oh
is-
shit,
we're
what
just
time is
kidding.
it?
What?
Oh, shit,
Oh,
what
time is it?
we've only been here for like 20 minutes at most because your spirit guardians just ran out the first
That's
time.
true.
Oh, okay.
You've
Sorry,
only,
Tom, you're
we'll
not
say
late
it
for
like a
dinner.
half an hour. You're not late for dinner.
You're
You're
not
not
late.
late for your
Alright.
dinner date with Rick.
Alright, cool.
You may want to freshen up a little bit.
Yeah.
Got this bite on my
You're a
arm.
little grody.
Oh,
I'll just
lay on
show-
hands. You're
What?
fully
Are you
good.
screaming?
Oh,
Yeah.
prestidigitation.
I'm so clean!
Magic ready for
It says
dates.
this stuff's not popping up.
How much-
For whatever
how much
reason,
damage
it
did you
doesn't
have?
show
12?
up in the chat. It shows
yes.
up over
Okay.
here on my
Jamesy stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, he messaged me. He was like this infuriating.
Because it doesn't show up on like the actual video feed, but it shows up.
So none of the other people can see him
No,
commenting?
but they can see me commenting to him or talking to him.
That's perfect.
He says it seems suspicious.
I'm not. I can't physically.
He's trying to limit his voice here.
I can't actually scream. You know what?
No one can limit James's voice. Xander, what the crap?
Alright, so before we bring out any of these dead rats, let's bring Mrs. O'Leary, her husband.
Let's not let her see him though.
Oh, well, he's wrapped up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we gotta break the bad news.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is unfortunate.
it's so
But-
sad.
I vote you do it because you have the highest charisma.
I think
Yes.
that is reasonable, as it is my job.
You do.
So all wrapped up in his tarp from the basement. Can you clean this tarp? Press the digits.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Might be a robot. Says they're just taking a long winter's nap.
Wait.
No, they're not, because that means death. Because that means just a nap. It just means a nap.
You did it, sir. You got them to admit that a long winter's nap means they're dead.
No, I said it means the death.
It means they're dead.
It means they're sleeping. It means they're sleeping.
So you bring up the
It's an
body
R&B
to
game
Mrs.
to-
O'Leary, and
Yeah.
she's
Okay.
Long winter's nap means.
she's
It's just,
kind of looking
No.
and
well, I mean, it's
you know
fine.
she kind of has her head cocked a little bit. She sees you walking up the stairs, and then you see
Oh,
her
they say
cane
they
just
insist it's
her
death.
fist, and it just
Whoa!
drops,
Yeah.
and she just hits the ground, and it's this look of realization
Oh, no.
comes across her face, and you know like a handkerchief
oh my
from
God,
nowhere to
Sam,
her
oh,
mouth.
I had this argument
And then
with
just
them.
tears just start silently spewing from her
Oh,
cheeks
she's
as
Dead.
she just is looking at you with this just look of just heartbreak
Ah.
as you're as she realizes who you're carrying with you as she sees the three of you exit.
I'm gonna gently place him on the ground, and then I'm gonna go over to her and I'm gonna give her a nice big hug because she's just an old lady
And
she could use some comfort.
she does she's again frail, but you're very gentle, and she just embraces you back, and you can just hear soft sobs against your neck as she's
So sad.
crying.
That's so sad.
Clyde wanted to know if there's tea.
There's
To
still
bring her, like,
Bring
bring
her
her
a
hot
cup of
beverage. That's
tea.
what you do when you're
there
consoling
there is
somebody.
still she still has tea.
All right,
you
so
can bring
I'm
her.
gonna help her over to her
Is
chair.
it warm?
I'm gonna
It's perfect drinking temperature.
Perfect drinking
Great.
temperature.
and then I'm gonna
They're
ask
there.
her. Yes, I'm gonna say I'm so sorry for your
she
husband.
takes it and
Just warm to hold.
she's holding it, and you see the tears streaming down into the tea, and she's just crying and just not she's trying to form words, and as she tries to talk, it just catches in her throat, and she's just
This is sad.
This is so real.
I'm doing my best. I told
Yeah.
you I was taking it to the next level for you guys.
Poor
Like,
Mrs. O'Leary. Mrs. O'Leary, I'm so sorry for your loss. Is there any arrangements that we can set up that we can arrange for Jim?
And again, she's trying. You can see she's pulls herself away from the drink, kind of looks up, and you see she's trying to just strengthen herself to be able to just talk to you guys and get one word out. And as she starts, she kind of and then it kind of turns into a sob, and she just continues crying, and she kind of does one of these and kind of puts her head down.
Wish you had calm emotions.
That's kind of fucked up. Let her feel this, man.
Oh, okay,
Just,
sorry, you're right. That's fair.
I want to be like, Magic, stop being a bitch about
Suggestion.
Kind of like we're gonna spike your drink with Valium.
it. Exactly.
And she pats your hand, gently, and she just, you can tell that she just probably just wants to be alone right now.
All right. Well,
Actually, make me insight checks.
Natural 20.
Yeah, you being a paladin and being kind of this bastion of endurance and understanding self-sacrifice and martyrdom and all this, you kind of just get the feeling that you'll take the body to the temple, because she just kind of almost without words is giving you these feelings. Take it to the temple and just leave her to her peace for right now.
29
Doesn't
for
matter.
insight.
Yeah.
Natural 20. Can't beat it.
Well, I was just saying. I got 29.
You are also feeling these feelings. We're
Um,
empathic.
Before we take the body, should we clean up the rats?
I was about to.
'Cause, like,
I was about to say
disease.
that. I was about to say
And
that
she's
to-
in
to her.
a
She's
Just
an
give me-
old woman.
Mrs. O'Leary.
She kind of looks up to you, Again, continuing.
We know that at this point, you just want to be alone with your feelings about poor brave Jim. But there's something that we should probably clean up downstairs. So if we're in and out for the next like 5-10 minutes, we apologize, but we don't want anyone to get sick.
Yeah, she just kind of, it's like a somber nod.
I don't have any magic that would help us clean this other than prestidigitation, but that'll be slow. It's like,
just a little hard work and endurance then. Let's just do it.
fine.
Great.
Alright. I was gonna say, if we can collect them all and get them outside, we can burn them.
Yeah.
Well,
I was like,
There's still
There's
tarp
still
down
a
there.
lot.
We'll
Yeah,
put them
so
all in
put
the
'em
tarp.
Bring them upstairs.
Bring them upstairs.
why don't we talk about this downstairs?
Okay.
Great.
We go downstairs.
So we go downstairs and we put them all in the tarp.
Yep, it takes about 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. To
What about the lion-sized rat?
I'm gonna drag that out separately, as it's probably.
Well, what I was
too
going to say is if I
Is it
had
dogs?
enlarge, shrink
Probably work
spell,
less.
whatever that's
They
called.
don't want to make contact.
Shrink
with
Can I
it.
it.
turn into like
No.
a gorilla? And just...
Yeah.
I couldn't get through the doors though. That would be torturous.
Gloves.
I
I've got
think.
2 pairs of gloves on right now, actually, because my character has 2 pairs of gloves.
He does actually have to wear the
You have
gloves.
gloves, you have gloves and gauntlets.
Yes, gloves
So-
and gauntlets. So,
Ugh. It's gross.
what's your spell list look like?
What? Cure wounds, command, detect magic, ensnaring strike, speak with animals, misty step, moonbeam, locate object, lesser restoration, and find steed.
How about what spells? Just tell me which ones you have prepared.
Should I? Oh, well, those are the ones that are.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ice Knife, Healing Word, Absorb Elements, Entangle, Beast Sense, Heat Metal, Bark Skin, Conjure Animals, Tidal Wave, and Wind Wall. Plus the things that my staff can do.
Yeah, I know cleric spell's pretty good, so you guys really don't have anything. I was gonna say if you just like dig a hole and like
Oh, I should have done the earth one.
put them in a hole
That's
and
great.
Sure.
burn them in the hole, then bury them. That would work too. So you could take the time to dig a hole.
Use conjure animals to summon a herd of vulture and have them just eat them all.
But
Nah,
it
that's
has
gonna
to
take
be
too
an
long.
animal that's
We'll just drag them
around
to the
that'll
edge of
run
town,
over.
collect some
No,
sticks.
conjure
no.
animals
Conjure
creates
animals?
animals from nothing.
Oh, sweet! I could do that.
Just
Alright.
summon like a.
I'm gonna drag them to the edge of town.
Oh,
Let's
he's
light them
already
on
going.
fire.
Ah,
He's already
Theron is a doer.
He is a doer.
He's a doer.
We
He's a
argue,
go-getter.
we bicker, and he does
He
things.
does things.
All right, so he's already outside. You got all the rats
Carrying
outside.
all the
You're
rats.
taking care of them, and
Don't you have a date tonight?
That's a couple hours. from
Oh,
now.
okay, cool.
I still got time.
So you manage
Take
to
care of the dead body.
you manage to take care of all the rats, and you manage to go to Rick, who was gonna hook you up with the guy that will get you the reward for that.
Pretty good.
I'll go bring Jim to the temple.
That sounds like a good idea for a cleric to do.
Alright.
And you can go
Who's
get Rick.
going where?
You can
He's-
do.
He's going to see Rick, so.
Come with me. Oh, you gotta go get ready, maybe.
I'm going to the temple.
I don't know. How long
Oh,
do you take to get
not
ready
asked
for a
about the
date?
Stone Lady. Oh wait, that wouldn't
It was
have done
like
anything.
3
That just
hours
happened
ago.
to go.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I lost track of time.
That's okay. You know what? So we'll just fast forward time a little bit. You
Time
take
is
care of all the rats.
Time is different where I'm from.
You manage to take him. We kind of explain the whole situation, and they say they'll make sure they send somebody to check
Mrs.
in
O'Leary.
on Mrs. O'Leary.
She's gonna need some help.
Yeah, and you kind of time will fast forward, and we'll say you're using this time to get ready for your dinner date. It's
Not much I can do.
let's say it's about like 6:30 ish. So it's
Was I
dinner
supposed to
time.
meet him at 6?
6. Well, fine. We'll say it's 6. I don't remember. So 6.
Alright.
Time to meet him at the purple.
You guys want to do a 5-er?
Yeah, want to take a 5-minute break?
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can call your sister back.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a short break. We'll probably play a song that my wife will hate because that's my wife.
Hey!
And we will catch you guys back here in 5 minutes, and hopefully the dinner date goes well so that we can get to the festival. Bring this mood up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
things got
depressing.
real.
And that poor
Things
Jim
got so
O'Leary
real.
and
I
poor
need
lonely
cookies.
old lady.
No.
Old
You don't
lady
get
O'Leary.
cookies now.
Yeah.
Real quick, what's
Folks, we are back. Just took a short break, more of a beer break than anything. So we are going to be getting, or possibly fast forwarding, so we can make sure we get everything that I wanted to get in. The date between Rick and Clyde.
Oh boy.
Rick, the one-eyed owner of the gold and silver pawn shop, bard extraordinaire, also sort of cleric, mostly for mechanical purposes. but he also doesn't believe. He believes in all faiths and carries a chain full of every holy symbol and prays to whatever god will help him at the time.
Aha. Looks a bit of a charlatan.
He is a little bit of a charlatan.
A little bit of everything.
Yes. So he's waiting for you outside, flowers in hand, nice
Aww.
tailored black bardic tunic, and none of the ruffles because that was never his style. But out front of the purple elk, I don't think that's what we decided it was called.
Let's go. Have dinner.
And
I'm just gonna go to the bar. I don't know.
Oh, okay, fine.
Weird thing that you were talking to him about that you want that I should ask him about last time when I had to go away.
Yeah.
What was it?
No.
Okay,
Squirrels?
never mind.
I don't remember.
Okay,
Not squirrels.
never mind.
People in mourning make me uncomfortable,
Oh, okay.
so I'm just
You don't
gonna
like
go home.
death. That's right. I keep
well,
forgetting.
nothing can shake his optimistic attitude, though. Don't
No.
forget.
So I don't like to be bummed out by people whose husbands just
On
died.
this date,
Yeah.
Have a
Here.
little empathy,
Yeah.
man. All right.
Yeah.
Would it be a bad idea to turn into a monkey and throw my poop back?
Yes.
See, because now where I'm from, that's affectionate.
Here's the thing. Not many people around here can turn into animals.
oh,
So he couldn't, if that was a courting ritual, he couldn't reciprocate. Unless he threw human poo at you.
Oh, no,
No, that
no!
sounds like it'd be a bad
Oh, no, that's a horrible
It's a
idea.
horrible idea. It doesn't, that,
Mm-mm.
not affectionate at all.
Oh, no. Oh,
Never
no. That's the
checked
opposite.
it.
That's
Yeah.
like a challenge to, like, trial by death. Like, it's
But you don't wanna do that
combat.
with
I
Rick.
didn't
Because
know.
one song and he would kill you.
He's gonna tell me what
He
my
could
map
kill
is
you with
looking like.
one song.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, literally murder death, one song.
Okay, then. So no on the
Don't throw anything. Don't turn into any kind of animals,
No.
I would say. And if you get a
Okay.
drink, don't lap at it. You tip the cup back into your face.
Listen,
until
last time I tried to do that, it went
it
all
went
over the place.
everywhere.
I'm
So
gonna rap.
you should have practiced before we got here.
Well, we were fighting rats.
Should have drank one.
He's been staring at us this whole time.
Yeah.
I feel like I should say hi.
You should.
Hi.
You get
It's
terrible.
gonna be a great date, Rick. I'm
He looks
He
excited.
he just kind of gets this smirk about his face, and then from seemingly out of the air, pulls a lute, and then just starts playing this little tune, and it's just like everybody just feels great, and he's like, "Don't worry, guys, it's gonna be a great time."
You say-
And he's just
That's your guitar.
Sorry.
he can just do that because he's Rick, and he's just playing this tune, and he says, "Guys, have no fear. It's gonna be a great night." And you recognize. Actually, everybody make me an Arcana check.
9.
15.
17.
All right, you two, you recognize that one, he said, "Have no fear," and started playing a song, and you actually feel more lighthearted, as if you're not having any sense of fear, and realize not only is this just a lovely tune he's playing on his lute, but it's also a counter charm being played on his lute to protect everyone from fear.
Oh, this is
He's
nice.
magicking us.
Does it sound anything like the fertility dance?
No, it doesn't sound like the Imperial March.
That's right. I forgot that's what it was.
It sounds more like the end of A New Hope when they're getting the medals.
Yeah.
It's all high pitched, and then like as you end up leaving and he ends up to like start to bring her in, it switches over to the end part of A New Hope where it's all the high strings part, and then when it switches over to the actual Star Wars theme song is when Flint starts walking away and he leads her after her playing the Star Wars theme song into the bar, and then like
Best
you see
thing
like
ever.
everybody looking around, and then there's just like people are up clapping because they
Slow
know,
clap.
and you see that the stage is actually empty, and he leads you over to a seat by a table right near the stage, and he says, "Whatever you want, it's all on me." And he says, "This one is for you," and he actually hops up on the stage and busts out like a baby grand piano from nowhere, and he's just like tickling the keys like it's nothing, and he's just crooning now because that's a thing he can do.
Level 18 sounds awesome.
Only 15. Only
Level
15.
15 sounds awesome.
And he's only a level 14 bard.
Oh.
He's a level 1 cleric. As if he's tickling the keys with divine powers. Go ahead. He's going to make a persuasion check against your insight check.
Mm.
19.
Okay, he's got a 35. So,
It's persuasive. Well,
you just, you kind of get the feeling, but you're like, maybe he does this to all the girls, but maybe not. I don't know. This guy's pretty good. That's the feeling that you
I
get.
mean, even if he does, it's a good move.
Good move. If you have that move in the back pocket.
Why wouldn't you use it?
So he kind of, he's been going on for a little while, and I don't have a particular crooning song in mind, but then he kind of like looks at you and then right across the keys, and then continues that momentum to spin around in the chair and kind of jumps
Till there
down
was
and
you.
sits next to you and says,
Till there was you
"So,
by the
what are you having?"
Be a good one.
What's good?
And then snaps his fingers, and a waiter comes up with a menu and shows you the entire menu, and it's just like,
So since I feel like better because of that.
You're
tavern
interrupting our date.
Here.
I'm talking to Theren.
Yeah, well, talk back.
Oh, I'm at old lady. Old
Leave
lady's
him
house.
alone.
I come to join
Oh, you came to join?
Alright, well, I'm never just gonna
We'll have our conversation.
just... Oh, he gets through. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
so. He has, and it's all like it's the highest quality fantasy medieval type food you can see, like Cornish game hens and all these fancier foods, quail and I can't even think. I haven't read enough. Wow, Game of Thrones recently to know.
I worked at Ren Fair. I should know what these foods are.
Yeah, you should know.
I should know.
So anything that you would have at the Ren Fair is available on this menu, but it's like higher end
Alright,
turkey
so that I should
Like
need
a doctor or a cleric?
Turkey leg is, you know what? You could order a turkey leg, and you know what? If it's not on the menu,
That sounds
he'll make it happen.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna say that to her,
Um,
but nothing can shake
alright,
my
so-
optimistic attitude. So
I'm-
I'll move your personality.
Yeah. It's alright, Mrs. O'Leary, even though you're old, alone, probably
What I'm gonna do is I'm going to give her
It's
the
fine.
romance
I'm gonna
novel
score
that
it
we
again.
found.
Yeah, there you
This
go.
is the romance novel.
So you get the Cornish game hen, and he orders a nice, most expensive bottle of wine that they have,
I
and
wanted
2
I
glasses,
wanted
and he
her to
pours
feel
you a glass, and he takes a glass, and he sits down at the
better.
table,
I
and he watches this,
When she's done,
just with
yes.
this quizzical smirk of just like,
to get away
she-
from it after we start.
At least
this girl is definitely different.
We're gonna
She
be
is
staying
cut
up
from
for
a
like
very
the
different
last,
cloth.
10, 15
Yeah.
minutes.
And it
Okay.
just not weirded out by it, but more intrigued. And
That's not even a year.
so, how's that working out for you?
Delicious. Thank you.
And he chuckles and he drinks his wine, and then he kind of looks at it, and he kind of looks at you, and he kind of
To the bar.
Yeah, to the one.
does like a little, and he's like,
I told
"Oh, that's actually
Clyde
surprisingly
to meet
It's
up
effective.
more effective than I had thought."
Yeah.
behind her
And,
date.
And you don't get the
Just in case
roulette.
we-
At the fancy bar.
And then he kind of like looks at himself in the glass, and he's like, "Huh,
You don't know that that's
I
the
was
one.
paying attention. I wasn't paying attention.
You're
Because
pretty
it's
smart."
the one place there is to eat in town.
So he says to you, but you did want to talk about maps. So I don't want to just make you think this was all. You did want to discuss maps. So what would you?
Did you bring my map back?
And you
don't
see,
know.
yeah,
Feeling
you,
fine, I guess.
Awesome, I need that. I've been
See,
so
it sounds
lost.
like they're actually having
Okay.
a good time.
So mainly,
Yeah.
Is bad.
is this map
He
accurate?
kidnapped her.
Even if you did
Because I've been
kidnap her,
trying
you
to
don't
map
have
where I've been so that I can get back the way I came from eventually. When it's time for me to go back to there.
This is the only
okay.
place you can
He says it is definitely a map.
I don't know.
Awesome.
Let's give it a shot.
So I don't know where you're from or where you've been, so it's kind of hard for me to judge how accurate this is.
Okay, well, this is where we are.
Okay.
And then
This is where the
Wait for something to
dead
happen.
owl
I don't
bear
actually. I
is.
think
Sure.
there are magic.
That's where these are.
lights
Do you know where these big rocks
outside
are?
of his place
I
24/7.
don't, but I'd
No
be
answer.
interested to know a little bit more about them.
Blocker break-in is a very-
It's not far
Yeah, I
from
don't
here.
think I would want
Okay.
to do that.
It's like a day's trek
Okay, alright.
through the woods.
Interesting.
Yeah, past, Don't be careful. There are some nasty creatures going on
Yeah, okay,
there.
great.
Alright,
Goblins hopping about.
I've met my fair share.
All right. So, how did you come to own a pawn shop?
Well, I used to be an adventurer like you,
Yeah.
but then I got rich.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure.
I
That's
worked
nice.
my fair share of jobs here and there, and met the right people, screwed over the wrong people, and
Been there.
you know, God, amen. And he clinks glass and he says, you know, it's been selling things and magic items and such. It's a very lucrative business. Not a lot of people can afford them, but the people that can have the money and they're willing to pay.
And I bet they have good stories.
Everyone has a good story.
Yes.
So he says now. He looks at the map and he says, now I'm not exactly sure where you're from, but as you saw, I have many maps in my shop. And he said, I can actually, and he kind of pulls out from his chest pocket, it's this little kind of compass, you know, like not like an actual compass, like a drawing compass. And he starts, you know, he pulls out a couple of different things and he kind of has a little box. And he says, this is actually a cartography set for making maps.
Oh.
So perhaps, and he actually pulls out an actual compass now. He says, with these two things, perhaps you can, you know, better track your travels as you go. These are a little more professional, although your map is very good for a hand-drawn. It seems maybe your first time drawing a map.
Yeah. Gave it away.
Just call it beginner's luck. Just a guess.
This is for
so it says, you know,
This is for me to tie, right?
I can definitely, as a gift of good faith and perhaps a date in the future,
20 gold.
I will give you these. I'll give you these tools, and you have free range to come and visit the shop to look at the maps whenever you want. Any of my maps, they are. Just let Chumley know you want to look at the maps, and anyone you want to look at, it's yours to look and copy. And again, I'm not an expert on maps, but I mean, I know my fair share of maps, but. If you would like assistance, you know, redrawing these, I would gladly help you to do that. Or maybe you go out on a trip, here's a map, and then we'll try to get you to draw what you saw, and then we'll see if we can instruct you to kind of make it a little bit better.
That could be fun.
So,
Well,
yeah,
thank you.
and he says, well, of course, you know, any.
It's been a long day. And I've cast all my.
So he orders dessert, and it's
Maybe you should go.
it is just it's apple pie, but it's imported
Go.
from a town that's over the mountains and over a lake. It's this apple pie.
You're not part of
She's
that.
having some apple pie. She's getting some apple pie.
So it's known in this area only as Ida's apple pie, but this is the finest apple pie that he tells you this is the finest apple pie in all the realms. And he says, I know it might seem simple, but you need to try this.
Alright.
So you bite into this apple pie, and it is a flavor explosion in your mouth. It's only apple, just simple apple and crust with a little bit of syrup, but the flavors just cascade over your tongue, and it's just, you can't imagine that 3 simple ingredients can make such a great flavor in your mouth, and you just feel inspired by this.
That might have been the best.
And you know that for the next 24 hours you have advantage
Make
on.
a lot of good pie.
Was it Constitution saving throws or Wisdom saving throws? Do you remember?
Constitution.
You have advantage on all Constitution saving throws for the next 24 hours by the sheer epicness of this pie.
Oh shit! That's awesome!
It's the best pie
It's the
ever.
best pie ever. Dwarves don't make really good pies.
Where are they right now?
I have no idea.
No, they're fine.
And he says, and
They're just not
you know,
It's
and he
underground,
says, but
it's not
alas,
Amazing
seasoning, so
pie.
it's just like-
and he says, I'm glad you like it. And he, you know, he has another slice put aside for you in a little box, and he says, but alas, you know, business is, Chumley is great, but he's not the brightest. So I don't like to leave him in charge for too long. So while allowing me to entertain you with a song and give you this gift and having a lovely dinner and great conversation,
Thank you.
I must bid you adieu. And he reaches out and takes your hand and he kisses your hand and he bows very deeply. And he says, you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. And I will hopefully see you soon. And then he just casually kind of walks, you know, bowing deeply and turns and walks right out of the bar.
Well, that was a lovely date. Okay, so I got.
On the table too.
And your date is officially complete.
Nice.
Alright. Well, we're drinking over at the pub.
The Broken Mug is the name of the pub, by the way.
Yeah, we're at the broken one.
Great. So that's where we are.
Did you guys play darts? I think I heard
Did.
you did. How'd
I
you
lost.
Okay.
Best of 7, but I took it to 7.
Alright,
Took it
nice.
7.
Took it to 7.
Okay.
It wasn't as intense as the game was past.
That was pretty intense.
That was.
All
Closed
right.
down the bar because of that.
So
Take it through.
I'm gonna say you make your way to the bar with your piece of your additional piece of apple pie to go. Having a nice little wine buzz, but a nice full stomach with a very happy meal, and you walk into the bar to see these two doing.
We're now at the bar counter having beers.
Hi guys.
Never mind.
So I guess you had a good day, right?
Hi.
What?
What did he? You just got from his house?
No. He bought me a slice of pie.
No. No.
Mmm.
He does that.
This is good pie. There's
Is
just it tastes like that pie.
Is it Edith's?
No, I just took it like but I do eat with my hands. So I was eating before. We were eating chicken and soup,
I know what that.
and then you came over with a pie, and I grabbed some. And ate
Yeah.
it. With my dirty, gross hands. He's never prestidigitated my hands,
He's never asked.
and I've never asked. And my character is described as a filthy, horrible, disgusting eater. So I'm covered in like crumbs.
I'm now gonna take my hand and scoop the part that you touched and throw it away.
Oh wait, no. Oh, no, I'm gonna
gonna
eat
put
that
this-
too.
Pressed it.
In a safe place.
That's fine.
No, but you said you were gonna be at the restaurant.
Yeah.
We came here, you weren't here, so I assumed.
No.
Jaren7 in the chat says, and the paladin wakes up with thorns in his bed in the morning.
I can do that.
We're gonna get different hotel.
No, my
rooms.
dad gives me a Thornwall.
Yeah, it does give her
So-
Thornwall.
But
So
yeah.
I'm gonna say, unless you guys have anything you want to do, the storm is actually, you hear the
Oh no, that's
That
the room.
storm is the brewing.
almost
It's coming.
like, and you can actually see the flashes. You know, the tavern light is fairly dim because it's getting later into the night. Even though the date seemed to go fast, it turned out that it was actually, maybe an hour or two you were actually there. You guys are pretty wasted at this
We're
point.
good.
Yeah. We've been having a good time.
You see the thunder, you see the lightning flashes, and you hear kind of thunder outside, and you know that thankfully the Broken Mug has rooms upstairs, so you won't actually have to traverse the outside to the other end across town.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna get a room.
I'm gonna get a room as well.
I'm very sleepy.
I will also get a room.
So good night.
Oh wait, what? I don't have to sleep.
You can.
Oh yeah, I'll get a room.
You
So
can choose to
the bartender Ralph.
Hi, Ralph.
Ralph. He's a very gruff kind of older guy, and he sees you.
Tabs on him.
All right.
I just switched that. The
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's fine.
And he
That was the 20 gold. Because you were paying for it. So I didn't actually take your 20 gold.
And
yet.
I'm just using it now.
and Ralph, with the deftness of a barkeep who's seen many years, you fling the coins at him, and like he's looking at you because you said he's paying the tab, and he's just like grabs all the coins and like.
These are great bartenders in this town.
And he says, there's 3 rooms, top of the stairs.
Good town.
I'm a fan.
Buffy, don't eat the food.
And you guys are able to. Oh, Buff, we look so cute on the stream. You guys are able to. You go up to your room, sleep through the night, trance through the night, as it were, and let's say at 7:30 in the morning, you wake up, and you will all make me a Constitution saving throw. All of you. You have advantage because of the pie.
Do I?
You'll have advantage on 1 Constitution saving throw throughout all of today. You have to choose when to do it.
Beforehand? Or
Before I tell you if you pass or fail.
What do I add to it?
I'm not within 10 feet of these guys, am I?
You are not.
Aw, that's bad for you guys. 23.
21.
9.
You guys are fine. You are really cold. It's like, holy crap, how did I sleep? It's so chilly in here. And you can actually, as you exhale, you see your breath in front of your face.
Fuck.
You both do as well, but you are not affected by the cold.
Because I got a hair shirt.
So worried.
It's super warm.
Alright, well, I'm going to pop all my plate on.
Hey, you guys, are you really cold?
I'm hungry. Let's go get some breakfast.
Those are different. Okay, I mean, I'm sure it's good that I'm cold.
So you start to descend the stairs, and you hear coming from the bar. It's really early, it's 7:30, but you hear kind of this just festive string music and a large kind of tussle and noise coming from downstairs, and as you descend, you see the whole bar is full of people, and as you look out the window, it's just a sea of white. Apparently, the storm that was supposed to be a thunderstorm, the temperature plummeted the night before, and it's just snow. Just beautiful, fluffy snow everywhere.
What is
It's
this?
so fluffy.
The
And-
blessing from Ilmater.
What's this?
And you see Ralph, and he goes, "Oi, it's a festival. Don't you guys know anything? You new to this town?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It
That explains it.
snows every time the festival comes around.
No, but this is a blessing from
What's
Ilmater. Maybe.
Shantae.
Shantae. Great.
Me.
Yeah.
I'm Shantae.
Shantae.
Yeah.
Great. Well, how about some breakfast?
He says, "Yeah, what do you?" And he says, he pulls out and they have all sorts of. They've got, they actually have a turkey spit roasting in the back there. There is all sorts of kinds of different pastries and this weird kind of white alcoholic kind of milky beverage that they have.
I'd like 2 of the white alcoholic milky beverages.
And they also have a very strong. They have very strong mead as well, but it's spiced with ginger, all sorts of different things.
It's a
Tamarind.
festival. All right, great. Well, I'm gonna have a big breakfast.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend 7 gold on breakfast.
You okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, for everybody around. You
Oh,
guys,
okay.
you guys
Okay,
are
thank
to
you.
breakfast too.
Whoa.
So at the
Cake
sound of that,
sandwich.
Ralph's eyes open when you say 7 gold on breakfast, and he's like, and then you say for everybody, he's like, well.
Yeah, that's more reasonable.
Well, he was excited because he thought you were gonna buy yourself 7 gold. worth
I'm
of
not
breakfast.
Ranrak. I
Yeah.
can't eat 7 chickens.
That's fair. He does like Ranrak because he bought 7 chickens, so he's a big fan.
Damn.
Yeah.
So
I dibs one of the turkey legs when it's ready.
all right, so you can actually get for 7 gold, you can have several turkeys.
Yeah.
At this point, 7
Well,
gold is
drinks too.
Okay, and drinks too. But even still, like, this is a small town. I mean, food is fairly cheap. Several coppers would get, like, a silver piece could get you a hearty meal, and you want 7 gold worth. So, like, you have this, like, you see Ralph goes into the back, and he comes back out with, like,
Oh
just stuff piled high, and things are falling over.
Great.
Ralph, what's the name of the festival?
It's the Wintercrest Festival.
Wintercrest Festival?
Yes.
So how do you wish someone, is it like Happy Wintercrest Festival?
Merry Winter.
Merry Wintercrest?
Merry Wintercrest,
Okay.
Ralph.
And as you actually drink the alcoholic beverage and it touches your dwarven lips, it actually does warm you up, and you are no longer. You realize that it's probably.
You gotta
it's
heat up,
probably-
man. You're looking pale.
It tastes like summer and winter at the same time.
You probably, even though you got drunk last night, you probably, when it gets this cold, not having enough alcohol in you, actually, you get a little chilly, so this warms you up, so you're good.
This is good.
Drink up, pal.
7:30 in the morning.
And as he brings out all of
You
the
can't
food.
really drink water back then because it was all
I know.
gross and
So Ralph brought out all the food for you, and this food is like piled to the ceiling for you guys, and he kind of like peeks around the corner, and there's like 15 other people in the bar, and he goes, "Oh, this one bought food for everyone."
Great.
Merry
Wintercrest.
So everybody cheers of everything. People come over to
Yeah.
pat you on the back. Everybody, everybody's just camaraderie. Everybody's drinking and they're swaying and singing Wintercrest songs.
Do we
I
know?
pretend I know them.
Me too.
Guess make me a performance check.
All right. No, I don't know them.
But it's charisma based.
Ah, that's
19.
true. And I do have performance.
20!
11.
You guys kind of just like, you kind of get the point. You're like, nah, and all of a sudden it starts to harmonize, and you're just like every couple of words, you kind of you sound that you're on key, and you're like, all right, I got this. And then like they change like tone and everything, and you're still singing at that tone, and everybody kind of looks at you, and you're like, no,
Merry Wintercrest.
At the end of the live action drink.
I'm gonna sit down and
he's
drink.
Like, nah, nah. Like that's what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
I'm like the Grinch.
You're the Grinch.
Oh, that's cool.
So everybody, you guys are having a grand old time,
Jubilations.
and
Something bad's gonna happen.
everybody, everything's great, and you're just having a blast. There, you go out into the street, and there's kids just running around having
I'm gonna-
snowball fights. All right, make me an athletics check. Actually, make me a
Attack roll?
a ranged attack roll. Yeah.
19.
Hit. You get hit in the face with a snowball.
Boom!
I'm rolling back.
I'm gonna dodge if
All
I
right.
can.
That gives you disadvantage on all attack rolls because you're dodging.
Ah, that's okay. Because now I'm just working on not getting hit.
It's Dex, right?
Yeah. Or no, strength.
Strength, am I proficient in snowballs?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody's proficient.
Then
Snowballs.
a
13?
13.
With just like it's not even like, and as it comes by a little bit, falls on his shoulder. And as he's turning, he just brushes it off like it's no big deal. Yes.
Can I have a bird carry a snowball, then drop on one of them while I simultaneously throw another one at someone else?
Make me an animal handling check.
Oh, no!
Oh.
Fucking Felix.
Damn it!
What a dick.
Fucking Felix!
Well, make me a ranged attack roll. Use your strength modifier to.
You roll, we'll tell you.
Okay. No!
Nope,
Why
she
am I
missed.
suck
She
at
got
rolling?
4.
So you're standing next
Can I
to
try?
Flint, and you're going to throw a snowball at Theren, and you reel back with this, and you just let it fly and hits Flint right in the face, and you send Felix off, and he like flies like he's gonna go to him, and he just does a loop and drops a snowball right in your face.
Oh, great.
Fucking Felix!
There's kids playing, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna yell to the kids. I'm gonna say, get 'em!
Make me a persuasion check.
Yeah. 18 plus what? I got per.
Just like
Oh yeah.
our snowballs will block out the
Yeah.
sun.
Yes.
And just
No.
Yes.
no.
Put your
No.
hand up. Put your hand
No!
up. Put your hand up.
Yes.
No.
So it
I
cavalcade.
use Druidcraft to make a little snow wind around me and I hide.
Make me a stealth check.
God! Damn it, natural one!
So you.
I hate this game! I hate that.
So as with the prowess of a battlefield leader of many generations of war, Theren points back at all the children and yells "Lease!" and all just snowballs from everywhere, rooftops, every place you can't even see, just and you see as Clyde brings a druid craft around to make a wind to slur up the snow in front of her to hide behind it because she's a wood elf, and as she does that, the snowballs are incoming. I mean, Flint is just covered. Just takes it.
Like Patrick in
and-
that one episode of
And she
SpongeBob.
goes to make the druid craft, and as she does it, she actually catches like 15 snowballs and goes like this and just brings them right back into her own face.
Oh no.
And she falls over prone.
I'm gonna go back inside and get some pastries. I'm gonna buy another gold worth of pastries, and I'm gonna distribute
Get
them
him back.
to the children
This will not stand.
To your troops.
to reward them for their good behavior.
Why?
Took my pie?
Alright, so
The finger pole. He ate some of the
Oh, he did, yes, my pie.
Wow.
So-
I could not. I don't know what I thought you were saying, but it didn't sound like pie.
Oh.
Hmm.
I was eating.
Maybe.
So you go and you get all of these pastries, and walking through the lines. Good job, men, handing out pastries to all of your troops. And the kids of the town are like, yeah. They're all excited because you're handing them pastries, and they got to pelt a bunch of grown-ups with snowballs. They think it's great,
Oh, it was fun. Good job, guys.
and they're just all excited. So everything's great.
Everything is great.
And
Something bad's gonna happen eventually.
you also know that there
Can't we
is
just have a nice festival.
there's various activities and
Be
things.
the light.
You guys have there is actually there's a jackrabbit chase where there's a obstacle course where they lease a jackrabbit into the water and you just run and try to catch it. And winner gets 50 gold and free round of drinks at the Broken Mug. So that's something. It's 10 gold to pony up to get into it, if you'd like to.
I'll split the entry fee with you if you do it as a dire wolf.
No magic.
Ah, is that magic though? I don't know.
It's druid magic.
It's druid magic.
If somebody turns into a wolf halfway through, they're gonna know.
What if-
Well, I was gonna say either that or into like a bird of prey where I could just spot it from up and just
That'd be good too.
snatch it up.
You can't fly yet.
I can't quiet, damn it!
No fly speeds.
Almost
Lies.
fly.
I mean, you could try and get Felix to tell you where it is, but
Speak with animals.
fucking Felix.
No,
No
my
magic,
luck
though.
with Felix. He just be like,
I'm in.
You're in?
I'm in. Just, it's a festival day. If you can't drop 18 gold on a festival day, I don't know what
Wait,
kind
no,
of.
Oh my god.
He
What?
already dropped. He dropped 7
That's
for
it.
breakfast and a gold worth of pastries for the children.
That's a lot of pastry.
I know, it's great. I'm sending them
Money
home to
bags
their
over
parents.
here.
Well, I've been collecting armor and stuff from all these
Adventure.
guys that we've
Sure.
been killing and selling it.
And-
Ranrak has all the stuff
And,
right now, but what?
and cumin.
And cumin.
And
Of course.
all right, so
He's that
would
kind of
You wanna
guy.
do it?
That guy. What?
would you like?
Sure.
Okay,
I'm
so
in.
you guys are all in.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in.
So You get set up and you're all at the starting line. There's several other people. So you see there's this white, it's a white jackrabbit too, so it's hard to see. And they begin to count down, 3, 2, 1, and then the rabbit is let out of the cage and it's jumping off, and then everybody roll for initiative.
8.
Natural 20.
11.
Somebody's starting off good.
Oh man. If only I didn't have a speed of 25.
Oh.
Alright, so you got, I'm sorry, what?
An 8.
Okay, Clyde?
11.
11, and Flint got a natural 20. What did you got?
So that's 22 total.
Alright, and the jackrabbit?
Oh, wait. Am I adding? Do I added to that. Lies. I have a 14. I mean, I don't know if it changes
Doesn't really
anything,
change
but-
We'll just say enemy 1 is the jackrabbit. They get a bonus because they get a head start. So, it takes off. So basically what we're going to do is throughout, as you guys are running, there are going to be various obstacles in the way. And the way this is going to work is if you get held up by any of the obstacles, there's going to be one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1, 2, 3, 6, I think 6 obstacles. If you make it through all the obstacles without getting stopped, you'll catch the rabbit. If you fail any one obstacle, the rabbit, there's no way you'll be able to catch up. And as you guys keep going, you'll kind of further along in the initiative and get further ahead. So,
Can I do like a visual representation of us?
sure, absolutely. You can make the, let's have a rabbit.
You've got a skunk.
I got a skunk.
I have some really tiny animals in here. I have
I got a bird.
a baby wolf.
Oh, no, we don't pay.
He's made of rubber. He's squishy.
Alrighty, so
So what I was gonna do is
Oh,
when,
he's so cute.
when each of us gets past an obstacle, I was just gonna move us up one.
that's fine.
That's
So
fixed
you can just put him ahead anywhere. It doesn't really matter.
Well, if there are 6 obstacles, I'm gonna move over for each one.
So,
He's so cute.
So you guys are running. Anytime a PC goes for the target, will go before the target on the initiative roster. They may use their action to engage in melee combat to grapple. It's ahead of you in the initiative. You have to pass a skill check.
Sounds complicated.
It will be from his end.
It will be from my end. So
You'll
you
just-
guys.
you'll
just
just
gonna
do
roll.
a thing. And then you
Okay,
roll.
tell me what to
Dex,
roll and then tell me.
It's running. Everything's so it's gonna go to Flint first. In front of you is a stack of crates. You're running at full speed after this. You can either make an acrobatics check to try to vault over the crates, or a strength check to try to barrel through. However, if you barrel through and destroy the crates, your teammates don't have to run through that obstacle. They'll just be able to run right through.
Did you say?
An acrobatics or an athletics? Actually, acrobatics or strength. Just solid strength check. Not adding proficiency.
I guess I'll do acrobatics.
Or you can try to make an intelligence check. Just straight intelligence, not adding anything. To try to find a way around the obstacle, but you'll have disadvantage on the roll, and it may cause you to lose sight of the rabbit.
No. I'm not gonna do that. I'll try
And
and
you would get a -5 if you lost sight of the rabbit. You get a -5 to your initiative, and you drop further again.
Okay.
So you can do strength.
No, acrobatics.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and jump. 16.
All right. So as you guys are running, you kind of sort of neck and neck, and with an unknown grace to a dwarf, he kind of jumps and Dukes of Hazzard slides over top of the crates and keeps going.
Cool.
So now, Clyde, you are up to the crates.
Alright,
Strength or acrobatics?
acrobatics.
All right. Let's see what you got.
Come on. I got the 11.
So you run and you go to jump, and your foot catches and
No!
you face plant into the snow, and they continue on, and then you hear as Theren comes running up behind. Theren, strength check or acrobatics?
I was gonna do acrobatics, which is dexterity. So that's just a 10 for me.
Break all the things, and you fall on top of Clyde,
No!
face down in the snow.
Sorry about that. I
I
thought you were gonna jump over.
I
actually
tried.
went really well because my
I'm
first
actually
instinct
a
was to
really
be like,
clumsy elf.
are they made of wood? I cut through them with my sword as I run, or my axe.
All right, so you're going. You're continuing. You
Still
have eyes on it. You're gaining on it. Up ahead is a passage in. It turns down an alley, and it kind of is kind of small. You can go ahead and try to make a dex skill, just a dex check to get through it, but you have advantage because you're smaller than a normal
Did
person.
not expect that from him.
Natural 20 on the first one.
You're good. You just kind
Why
of
can't he be like
run,
that on a
and you kind of
normal
turn and do a cartwheel down.
Guys, I did a cartwheel.
And you know, running sideways, cartwheel down, right out into the street. The rabbit is almost in front of you, and it runs, but it hops over a short, kind of 5-foot high wall. So you can go ahead and make an athletics check to try to just run and climb over the wall, or an acrobatics check to try and actually flip over the wall.
I'm gonna do athletics.
Okay.
So bummed.
22.
You just run and, you know, like a gymnast in the Olympics, hands down, legs out wide, over top of it. You even manage to, just for the little flourish, because you know your friends are watching, put your hands down,
Bad for distance.
legs up, turn around, and flip down, and continue on your run. Rabbit getting closer.
Yes.
As you're running, you see up ahead, you can see this ice.
The legends are true.
Ice is on the ground, and you realize there's the potential that you're going to slip on this ice. So why don't you go ahead and make me either an acrobatics check to jump over the mud, or you can try to run straight through it and make a dex check to try to keep yourself up from falling.
So acrobatics or dex?
Acrobatics check or just straight dex. The jump, but you're trying to leap over, so the acrobatics check's going to be higher.
Okay, then I will do the just dex check.
So you're running through the ice, making a straight dexterity check.
Shouldn't have done this right.
Not a saving
Late
throw.
now.
Yes,
It's a check.
No.
Oh, it is a save. I'm sorry.
I like to wear my
10
most of the time.
You're going in, you're going down, and you know you kind of slide down on one knee, but your dwarven kind of pauldrons on your leg. You kind of catches purchase on the ice, and you manage to right yourself up and keep going.
Damn.
So you're chasing down. The rabbit is getting closer and closer, and you can almost reach it. And then up ahead is another kind of narrow passage. This one much smaller. So you can actually, or I'm sorry, not a passage. It's actually like a break in the ice where there's a hole in the ground.
Oh.
So you can make an athletics check to try to leap over it, or you can make me a perception check and see what happens.
Oh, then I'm gonna go perception.
Okay.
Come on.
Fuck.
No.
An 11.
No, it's not.
You hear the cheering of Flint, and your friends inspire you. And as you get closer, you see there's actually a rope over the gap, and you leap up, and you actually manage to catch the rope and swing Indiana Jones style over the gap, land on your feet, ground still running, and you come around the corner. You see the end where the kind of fence is up to catch the rabbit, but there's a crowd of people waiting there. But the rabbit darts the way it's not supposed to go through the crowd. Now there's a crowd of people. So you actually need to make an intimidation check to just yell, make a hole, to get them to make room for you to catch that rabbit.
Come on, man. Shit.
Or you could, I'm sorry, I didn't think there, you could also try to make a dex check. But I'm going to say because of your size and your stoutness, at disadvantage to try to just slip through the people in the crowd.
6 for the intimidation.
So you yell and everybody just like, this fucking guy. So I'll let you, because I didn't tell you about the dex check. You can try to make a dex check at disadvantage.
Still a 6.
You run, you yell, make a hole, nobody moves, and you're like, I've got this, and you run, and you just barrel into the first person there, fall over. And as you hit the ground through the legs, you see the rabbit skitter off, and then seemingly out of nowhere, somebody just snatches it up.
Damn.
And it's Chumley.
Fucking Chum! You know what? Good for Chum.
It's alright.
Good for Chum. We're having a good time.
We're having a good time. It's a good festival.
Yeah,
So, you guys
come
are
give you a
all-
big pat on your back.
that was intense. You alright?
Yeah, we're very dangerous over short distances.
I
I
gotta
gotta
go
thank
there.
Yeah,
you for
he made-
the chanting.
Yeah, man, we wanted to. Let's go get your drink. Come on.
Let's come out. Let's buy you a drink.
Yeah, so you guys head off to the broken mug
We should
again.
go check on Stone Lady.
We should check on Stone
Who?
Lady.
We met a petrified lady in the forest.
Oh.
We didn't meet her. We found her because
We
she's
found her.
statuesque.
We brought her here.
So yeah,
She's
and they said she was petrified. So we're
And
gonna
then
go.
stone
She's in the
lady.
temple. We're gonna go check on her. See how she's doing.
All right, cool.
See if they figured out how to fix her yet.
Yeah, it's greater restoration. I just don't know how.
Yeah.
Right, so you get to the temple, and even though outside it's festivals and things everywhere, you come inside, and it's still very, very kind of somber and quiet and temple-esque. And you recognize, what did I say his name was? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
The Tormish cleric. I don't actually know if I didn't
He
give
didn't
him.
introduce himself.
Ralph?
He didn't. I didn't give him
No,
a
that
name.
was Ralph today.
Ralph was the bartender today.
Let's go with
Axton?
Axton, the Tormish cleric, and you see him standing there, and he has a very dire look on his face.
Oh no.
And he sees you come in, he welcomes you in, and he says, "Hello, welcome, good to see you guys again. I haven't seen you in a while, and I don't believe we."
My Theren gold petals, paladin of Ilmater.
And he kind of reaches out, kind of grasps your arm, and says, "Welcome, brother. It's always nice to have someone from the faith of Ilmater visit the temple." And he's a Torm,
Yeah,
so he's a
they get
warlock, so
along.
you guys are good. And he says, I reached out, and we were supposed to have a cleric of Azuth, which you know as religion people, that's a magic based, not a Mistra, but still a magic, a wizard based
Deity.
a wizard based deity, come out here. But the snow held up their passage through the mountains.
Okay.
So they should hopefully be here once the snow clears, and just for now, I guess enjoy the festival.
Okay.
While you can. And he just sits down in the chair, and he just.
You okay?
What's wrong, Axton? You said enjoy the festival while you can. It sounds like something bad's
And
gonna
he
happen.
says, maybe not. I don't know. But I've heard you see there's, now that you look around, you see there's just tomes open, various pages, dog-eared, things, bookmarks everywhere. And he just says, I can't be certain, but I've heard that it's been a long time since Wintercrest Festival is something where everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Other way.
There you
Stop.
go.
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah.
There you go.
And he says
Yeah,
it's
he's getting
been. He says the Wintercrest Festival now is known for festivities and times of getting together and family, but that's not how
This is a good
it was
book.
originally known. I'm sure. He
Yeah.
said, I don't know how familiar
There's no
you are with
pictures,
the
though.
ancient history of this area of the world, but in days past, it was actually a festival. It wasn't a festival at all.
Oh.
It was a ritual sacrifice to an evil creature that is of legend, and in doing this it was a way to honor that creature in hopes to make blood sacrifices to keep that creature at bay and allow everyone to make it through the winter season unharmed.
Okay.
This sounds terrible.
That's very
Is
ominous.
this the devil that
Many-
we stumbled upon?
Many years ago, a young band of adventurers grouped together and found a way to defeat this creature and seal it away for centuries. However, there was a long prophecy foretold long before any of these events that if this creature was ever to be sealed away, after 1,000 years of slumber, it would awake. And I believe, if my calculations are correct, this Wintercrest Festival will be the one where, come sundown tonight, this creature will be once again awoken, and there are supposed to be signs of it coming. It has
Like the snow.
a sudden drop in temperature.
That
As you
happened.
know,
That
it's been very warm and temperate and beautiful out recently, and out of nowhere, we haven't had snow on a Wintercrest Festival in at least a decade.
Oh dang.
A 10-year. I don't know what the hell it would be.
Yeah.
But but all of a sudden, a sudden drop in temperature. There's also talk of minions of this evil being coming into be and terrorizing various towns across the countryside. There unfortunately have been no reports of this happening, but as we get closer and closer to sundown, I fear for the safety of the town. And
What kind of minions?
and he says it's very fuzzy because the accounts are very minimal, because most people that encounter these minions never survive.
Is there anything we can do to hold off the The darkness, which is
And
coming.
he points to a couple of books and he shows you that there's some very crude, as you would think as older texts are, with these kind of cruelly drawn, not maps. I was gonna say
Pictures. Pictures.
Pictures
Yes.
of what these things are supposed to look like, and you see they are kind of
excited to find a book.
You don't know. He says the writing is old, very old, so I can't really determine it. But the picture of one of these things that keep popping up over and over in all of these texts is the picture of this creature, and he shows you it's got cloven hooves from the waist down, and it comes up and it has a humanoid upper torso and kind of dark red glowing eyes and big horns that come off of its head, and a long kind of short bushy tail off the back. And he says, all I know is this is what you look at it. Look at it.
This is freaky.
Ugh, not a
It
fan
doesn't
of
look
this.
pleasant.
And let's see if I can pull up a picture of it.
It looks like a half animal though.
Yeah, half animals usually are all bad.
Why?
And he says,
I don't know. Have you met the Yanti?
No.
Or half snake, half people? They
Yeah.
kinda suck.
Oh, I never met him.
Oh, they kind of suck.
I heard about him
Just
one,
dicks.
one time. Though.
No.
Yeah.
Not like evil.
In a book I read. I read
No,
about
like
him
Felix.
one time.
Did you know?
I did.
A lot like Felix.
Yeah.
It's like if there was a whole race of Felixes.
Persuasion
God.
21 I did.
One is bad enough. I can't get rid of them though.
Insight.
What's that?
actually,
I know all about the
It's like
snake
you did.
people.
You
Yeah.
did 16.
I read a book.
He's lying to me.
Oh,
And I couldn't tell.
alright.
And he says, have any of you seen anything strange recently that would lead you to believe that something could be a place of where this thing may come into be?
Hmm.
Well, the dire rats. with
There's the
big
rats.
Slashes.
You saw
We
them.
saw
This is
dead
so
big old
serious.
slashes.
Is that from the mama guy?
From the
No,
mama
no.
rat. Yeah.
Oh, it was from the mama rat. Alright. Well, there's those guys.
We
There was the-
saw
the
this. We saw
owlbear.
stone.
Lady.
Stones?
Yeah, stones. It said a powerful
Stones.
devil lives here.
Oh,
Above it
yeah.
In
It was the fire rifles?
Goblin, I think it was written.
Yeah, we had fire.
Oh,
found
not
fire
goblins. I've been having
No,
some
different
problem
zone.
with goblins myself.
Oh, don't tell.
Oh,
Don't
no.
tell me. Those are our fucking
Oh,
friends.
that was the owlbear.
Yeah, we found them because I cut open the owlbear like a
We
tom
didn't find
tom.
anything. We just found
We didn't- no, no,
entrance.
we
I
found-
know, I know,
We're not gonna, we can tell him.
Oh, yeah.
We're not gonna tell him.
Oh.
'Cause what if he's like, oh, we want the photo?
And he says, I'm sorry, you said stones?
Yeah, stones.
Stone.
Big stones, written in Goblin, a powerful devil lies here. We went the other way.
Yeah, we went away.
It was about, what did you say? It was like a 6-hour ride? 6-hour ride
Something more or less.
from where
With
we
the-
came.
with
You
the
see
dead
him,
owlbear?
he
The
put
dead
his-
owlbear?
his
There was
head
a
in
dead
his-
owlbear.
Dead
his head in
owlbear.
his hand, and he strokes his kind of bald head, and you see like a sweat come off his hand, and he says, this is troubling.
We must inform the townsfolk.
We must not inform the townsfolk.
Are you kidding? What happens if they come here? We gotta protect these people.
No, I agree, but I feel like if we, at this point, are like, hey, there might be a powerful devil coming, they're either going to ignore us or panic.
Okay. Or
Yeah,
we
all
could
of
not
those
tell
are
them.
bad.
There's a whole bunch of kids and stuff outside playing right now.
Yeah,
We should have people go back inside. If they panic, that's better than them being completely unprepared.
He says, I
Panic could
agree
be worse.
with,
Panic could be worse.
we should not, it's
We should
unfortunate
band
that-
together.
And he says, the festival is a time of happiness as far as these people know. Let them enjoy it, because for all we know, it all could come to an end at the end of tonight. Let them enjoy what they can. You mentioned of stones written in, are you sure it was Goblin?
No.
You did.
It was either common, goblin, giant, or dwarvish. Definitely one of those four, because those are the only languages I
And
remember.
you see just a look of frustration, and he goes,
goes.
you know that 75% of written languages use Dwarven runes. That is no help at all.
No, but I could understand them, so it would have been dwarvish.
And just a look of,
Struggle right now.
and he says,
It's probably goblin. I'm pretty sure it was goblin.
he just,
That would
is-
be.
I think it was
I think it
goblin.
was goblin.
It was yesterday. I think it was goblin.
he says,
Can I cast detect a memory?
not a thing.
Aw. Retrieve memory?
So he says,
Time travel?
not it. Nope.
Time turner?
Nope. He says, Quiet, you.
Prestidigitation
Shush.
on his gleaming head.
Oh.
Spirit guardians.
He says,
They can take the town and push it somewhere
You just-
else.
you already have inspiration. I can't give it to you twice, but
Come on!
yeah, you would get it again.
You should trade her up.
Oh, I should have used this to help you in the race then!
I won.
I didn't know that was gonna happen. Alright, continue.
He says, I'm sorry. I need a second here.
Can we take the town and push it somewhere else?
Is that enough? No, we get the spirit guardians and call a bunch of animals.
Call
Or just get
Ilmater.
everything and just push to the
And
town
just-
somewhere else.
He says, that idea.
Mike.
It's just crazy enough to get us all killed!
Alright, but to be serious,
But
but to be
seriously,
serious.
seriously, seriously, seriously.
Um,
We gotta figure out what we're gonna do.
okay, so there's this horned thing with
Hooves.
4-leaf clover feet.
Yeah. That.
That's
Which is
not
weird.
that.
That's not what
It
that
just,
means?
That's
just
not what
hooves.
that
Oh,
Just
anyway.
looks like a horn.
So we gotta.
Imagine a goat.
Should we go to the place and try and kill it, or do we stay here and defend the town?
He says,
Well, we don't even know what's happening.
he says, let me, I don't know if you know of Rick.
Rick!
He says, let me bring him in. He's not really a temple kind of guy, but I'll see if I can't bring him in.
We'll be fine.
And if we can pore over these books, perhaps we can get some new glint of information to give us anything to help us prepare for this. Will you three please just keep an eye on the town and the townsfolk? Anything strange, anything out of the ordinary, come to me at once and we'll see if we can't, if that, maybe it's a new sign, something we can factor into this. But just keep your eyes open. I'll see if we can't, maybe if we get a name, maybe a name might help us track this down. So let me continue to look.
So the name of the beast.
Or you're welcome to look with me as well.
I cast guidance on him as he looks.
He
Gets a
seems
+3.
he seems almost a little bit like, I'm a cleric too. Like, alright, sure. This guy.
Gave you a +3, bitch. I don't say that.
Drop my
Well,
die.
you can't. You
Oh,
have to be
no.
optimistic.
Maybe it's an natural 20. I
Well,
guess.
optimistic doesn't mean you have to be nice. Just means you have to have a
I
third
just can't be
outcome.
down. I just can't get down. I came to get down. So jump off your feet and jump around.
He continues to look, and perhaps, again, he says, perhaps, I don't know if any of you are bookish at all or enjoy research, but maybe if you could give me a half an hour, maybe with us, and if we can convince Rick to come here and work on this as well, perhaps we can find something.
I'm gonna go look around the town.
I would love to help you research, and I'm sure if Clyde
I
asked
can go
Rick,
get Rick.
I'm sure she'd love to go get Rick.
Alright, well I'll go get Rick.
All right,
later.
come
But then
get
I'm gonna
Rick.
look around the town also as
Make sure everything's.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is
But
there anything?
you're going
Kids.
so I would say you
I
guys
want to
leave.
start a foundation for kids who can't read good and want to learn to do other stuff good too.
It's a good
School for
good
ends.
foundation to start.
Alright.
It's gonna have to be at least 3 times the size.
So what were you doing?
I'm gonna stay and help him. read.
Okay, so why don't you make me investigation check.
I'm going to also. give
Or
some-
a history check, whichever one is better for you. Probably the same.
6 in one, half dozen in the other.
Alright.
14. 19.
Alright, you continue to read, and you actually, the more, so I'll get back to you guys in a sec. So as you're reading, you kind of, you're not finding anything that he hasn't already told you, but you have managed
Now I'm
to
a
piece
little
together
worried.
that
A little bit.
the more you research, it's
You're also
actually
unaware.
not just this area of the
People
world.
playing.
You notice that on
Drinking.
this
They're
very
in no
day,
state to defend
all
themselves.
across the
They're all
world,
inebriated.
there is talks of this happening
Right?
throughout different points.
It's
in-
like 11. I've had
Yeah,
like
the
6
ages.
beers.
Okay. Do I notice that that it's happening?
Flint,
There are reports of it
Wintercrest.
happening at the same time in 2 different locations, or is it always seem to be? Is it all over the world? One place, like, are there multiple of these things?
Is it
or is it one
Christmas
thing
magic?
that's going all over the world?
As far as you can tell from what you have right now, it seems like wherever this one thing is, it seems like it moves.
Okay.
But it appears that again all over the world, but never in the same timeline at the same time. Like it seems like perhaps it's put down or defeated, but it pops up somewhere else, but always on the same day.
Okay.
And and you continue to research. So we're gonna jump to you guys now.
Okay.
So you make it to the gold and silver pawn shop, and as you the bells ring as you walk in, and you see Rick is kind of bent down and he's helping some people looking at the glass, and he's pointing at something, and then he just kind of does one of these, and he smile splits across his lips. He walks over and he says, "Excuse me for one moment." He kind of walks away and he kind of nods and acknowledges you, and then he looks to you.
Take a
and
couple steps, start looking
and
at something.
he kind of does one of these. And he says,
Yeah.
"Well, it is lovely to see you again. Happy winter, Merry Wintercrest."
Merry Wintercrest. We were wondering if you could help us with something.
And again, just this big old smile on his face, and he says, "Help you or help you?"
It would help everybody, but it would be a personal favor to me.
And he says,
Huh.
"Of course.
Yeah.
What can I do for you?"
I know some
Well,
words.
we were at the temple,
Pull.
and what was his name?
Accent.
Axon was telling us
Pocket
that
hole.
something really bad is gonna happen tonight,
Hmm.
and pretty much everyone's gonna die. And
That is bad for
it's not
business.
good. It's bad for business. And they got Flint and him are back at the temple, and they're doing research.
Intriguing.
And Axon.
Yep.
Asked us to come ask you to come help us try to figure out what exactly is going to happen.
This
and
book doesn't
how
have
to
any
stop
pictures
it.
either.
And he says, "Well,
This book is stupid.
Temple and I,"
Please,
and he started going back and forth, and he's hearing this, and he's just like,
pretty please.
he says, "I have some books in the back. Go grab them. Wait here. I'll be right back."
I mean, if the world ends, we can't go on another date.
Is Chumley here?
Yeah, Chumley's here.
Chumley, what'd you do with your 50 gold, man?
Yeah.
And he
Congrats.
just has, and he said, "I invested it." And he got a big old smile on his face, and he's got his hands on his stomach.
In what?
And he says, "In this guy out on the street," he said, "if I give him my 50 gold, he'll invest it for me, and then I'll make a ton more money."
Chumley, that sounds like a terrible, terrible
I wouldn't
idea.
do that.
But he said that he would make me more money.
Did you give him your money already?
Well, yeah, he asked for it.
Oh no.
I'm gonna give you some advice that you should go get your money back and not invest it with that guy at all, as he probably is trying to rob you.
Yep. Oh,
That's not Wintercrest spirit at all.
I know.
I know. I'm
Come on,
sorry.
come on, chum. Let's go get your money back.
People suck. It's
And
okay. Come on.
he kind of waddles out from behind the counter, and he kind of follows along with you as you leave.
All right.
Or someone should wait for Rick.
You're waiting for it,
I'll wait
because he's going to get the books and
Yeah,
come back. He
I'll
told-
wait for Rick.
So he comes back out. He's got 2 or 3 books under his arm, and he says, "Well, ladies first."
And we go back to the temple.
And
Do we see this guy outside who stole his
make
money?
me a perception check.
17.
We're going back to the temple, just so you know.
All right, I'll be there
All right,
shortly.
So you guys, you're looking around, and you see the crowd, and you're kind of scanning everything, and then you see Chumley kind of like pulls at your arm and goes, "There he is. That's him." And he points out to this kind of snivelly-looking guy that as you get a little bit closer, you just notice that it's just this kind of like probably 17 years old. It's a punk kid, and you just saw him win, and as you actually recall, he tripped out on the first obstacle with you in the race. So this kid probably just really wanted the money to win.
No.
So I'm gonna walk up to him. And I'll be, excuse me. I heard you have an investment opportunity currently.
And he says, "You want to get in, old man?"
Yeah. I was wondering what your startup idea was.
I says, "Well,
Always on this day.
you give me your money, and then he tries to run away.
All right. Well, I'm there.
So you can make an attack of opportunity if you want to make an attack, and if you hit him, say you can grapple him.
All right. Nope. Natural one.
So you go to you go to get him, and You reach out and you kind of grab the back of his shirt, but he pulls, kind of you like slip in the snow a little bit, and he gets away. And he takes off running.
Oh, great.
Pretty stones
Command, stop.
Remember?
All right, what's the saving throw?
I
Did we damage it? Did we release it?
11, 15.
And if we did, keep that shit to yourself.
He fails.
All right, great. So I'm gonna grab him,
You feel bad.
and I am going to pick him up. Okay.
Yeah, but these
And then I'm going to carry him with me to the temple.
Okay.
Just rocks.
And then once we get there,
Respect the
put him
rocks.
down,
I mean, yeah.
and I'm
I mean,
gonna
I
say,
know,
in front of the gods,
the
were you
best
planning
possible building
to
material.
steal this man's money?
Make an intimidation check with advantage.
All right.
Fair.
Festival.
Yes.
20.
That's what anyone.
Strength of rock.
Yeah, yes. Or you say, was he planning to invest it, or are you planning to take it?
Oh, steal it, yeah.
Things are happening.
Do you still have his money? Return it now.
And he hands the 50 gold.
Get out of here, you
And he-
idiot.
And he runs and he stumbles and he trips and he falls and he looks over his shoulder and he keeps running and he just leaves.
I'm gonna be watching
Chumley,
10.
be more careful with your money. You're gonna get robbed blind if you just believe everyone. It's a hard world.
Do you want to do Buffy?
Okay.
Alright, and go back to work, because you left the shop unmanned.
Okay.
Alright.
And he runs back.
Great.
Is it cool if we do it at your house?
Yeah.
Only because Steve is sick.
Are you guys back to the temple?
Yes, yes,
He's
we're all
back.
done. I got his money back.
He
Yay! Good for Chumley.
Yeah.
Alright, so Rick follows you begrudgingly into the temple. He's seen kind of like
Thank you,
looking around at the
Rick.
gods and he looks at Axton. There's like a nod of like
Hey, Rick.
he nods to you and there's this kind of nod to Axton of like mutual respect, but like, alright, I'm here. I don't really like
I'm
you,
gonna put
but
my
I'm
hand
here.
on Rick's shoulder and be like, be cool.
And he's just like,
It's okay.
and he says, all right. So he says, fill me in. And then Axton kind of does this whole thing,
Are you using your
and
feminine wiles to save the world? Like
he
respect, but I'm just
he kind of fills him in on stuff, and then Rick says, all right, well let me take a look. He says, I brought some couple of books that are a little bit older, maybe you haven't found. And he says, maybe we can combine these, and if we join our efforts, maybe we can do stuff. So why doesn't everybody make me an investigation check or a history check, whichever is better for
Am
you.
I at disadvantage?
History or what?
Yes.
Investigation?
Or investigation.
Let's see.
22.
14.
12. This is the most investigating I've done with books in a long
You're
time.
doing real good,
Proud
Theren.
of you.
I figured out which
I
way
don't know
it
his history,
goes.
but I feel proud.
Oh, I'm gonna stop rolling off.
Well, I read very well.
Okay.
I read very, very well, thank you.
Aww.
I've been
And
reading
the proper grammar.
I've been reading books for a long time now.
Yeah, it's manga. He's reading it backwards. So I'm gonna say between your combined efforts, you and Rick and all of you guys kind of putting your heads together, very Buffy, Scooby-Doo, Scooby Gang research style, you kind of find a new piece of information, and in looking at and translating and pulling all the things together, you realize that the picture that you saw is that it describes the creature, and you found a name.
Oh, it's
It's called a Krampite. Krampite.
Is it like Krampus?
I mean, you heard me describe it.
It's Krampus. We're fighting Krampus.
don't know that.
We're fighting
We're
Krampus.
fighting crap.
So,
A Krampite. I had Krampites
as
once.
you
It was
guys
terrible.
finally make this realization, and then everybody's kind of now you're looking for a whole new set of information. Everybody's researching, and then everybody making a perception check for listening.
Listening.
Oh no. 10.
What's Aslan doing right now? I haven't really been giving him any commands. He's
You
probably
haven't?
just hanging
He's
out
chilling
somewhere.
with Felix.
11.
That's a 1.
I
Oh,
know.
okay.
JT, shoot that back to me, please. Thank you.
I'm gonna telepathically yell at Aslan and tell him to come here.
All right. Why don't you have him make a perception check at advantage on his way over?
He gets +3, so it's 17.
What did you guys get?
10.
11.
You kind of get you get this kind of message from him as he's bounding towards, very, great with feline grace as he's bounding towards temple, he gets this feeling of you know that something's not right. He smells and he senses that something's
Animal
not right in
senses,
the
man.
street, and that you should probably get there right away.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
There's trouble in the street. Aslan has telepathically. Aslan, I'm coming. We have to go
You
now.
just say that in your head and he'll hear you. You don't have to say that out loud.
Aslan is his mount lion. For those of you not sure.
I can speak with him telepathically, but
Yeah,
I
but-
yell
okay,
whenever I.
You don't have to.
Oh.
Is what I'm saying.
Well, I like to know
Look,
what's
look,
going
we have
on.
more important things. I'm
We'll
running.
talk about it.
I like to know
We'll
what's
talk about it
going
later.
on.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it
So
later.
you
Talk about
guys
it
run
later.
out into the street and you find Aslan at the outskirts of town, right as there's the tree line, and then
I'm gonna jump up on him.
coming from the tree line on the right, as you notice this, the sky begins to darken. Actually,
Uh-oh.
It begins-
Oh,
and even though it's
good.
only like one, or like not even, it's like noon, the sky begins to darken, and you see this coming from the tree line on both sides. Two of these creatures, they pretty much what you saw the image of, and I was trying to pull it up on my tablet, but it's not working. So I will pull up the image here on my phone and see if I can't show you. Ooh, I got the other art assets. So for those of you guys that are just tuning in, this is I'm reflavoring the name and the story behind it, but this is a creature that is going to be unveiled in the Tome of Beasts unofficial D&D 5e expansion by Kobold Press. They give us early access to. I'm going to flip it up on the screen for you guys to see what it looks like. And this is the creature. You see two of these
Oh shit!
exiting
Oh.
Mm.
woods.
Funky, funny
Funky
antenna.
butt
looking.
love.
Whoa.
Did he just say funky butt love?
He did just say funky butt. I don't
It was
know. Is that a
when
movie?
we were kids, yeah.
Just the Goonies.
Well, I wasn't.
No.
It was certainly not the Goonies.
No.
So
Now,
you see these creatures and they kind of look and they're speaking in some language that you guys don't understand.
I don't understand this language.
Oh no.
But you get the feeling that there's no way you possibly could. This is some strange, bizarre language that probably hasn't been heard or spoken in years. And by years, I mean like centuries.
Hundreds of years.
So you see them, and as they get closer, everybody make me a perception check.
Great. I would also like to divine sense to see if this is a celestial fiend or undead.
20.
16.
Divine sense goes off. It is neither of those.
That's not a celestial fiend or undead. Perception of. No.
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the
That's
year.
what it was.
That's where funky butt love.
You guys notice
High
as they get a
stinky
little
cheese.
closer, a dagger at the belt, a short bow strung across the back, and what was your perception check?
20.
17.
9.
You notice a set of pipes on the left side of both of them,
Bitches got pipes.
like pan flute pipes.
Pan pipes. Bitches got pan pipes.
Everybody roll for initiative.
Ta-da.
Oh,
3.
1.
7.
Wow.
What did you
Oh,
get?
well, I got
3.
one, but I got
3?
other things.
3.
4.
I don't have a dex.
4, and you got a.
7.
I don't have any decks.
All right,
So.
well that's how that goes. So the Crampites get to go first,
You can move that if it's in the way.
and they have many abilities.
Many,
Oh,
many
wait, there
abilities.
Shit.
So the first one, the one on the right, we can actually we can use minis. We can just set them up. Just grab you guys and put you guys over there. We'll use these as the Crampites here. So just put them
This little one. Baby one.
Baby wolf. He's so
Crampite here and a Crampite over here. We'll just say that whatever that distance is, that's how far away they are. So,
30 feet away.
you guys,
It's a big old spot.
let's see. So the Crampites go first. The one on my left here, the bugbear one, he draws his short bow and he looses an arrow at Clyde and one at Flint. First one is a miss, just right over top of Clyde. Maybe the snow falling is just enough to kind of obscure her naturally that he just misses. And the one shoots at Flint and ding, right off the shield.
Bitch.
The other one notices this happen and looks and looks down the line and then looks at Theren, and then just a big toothy smile, and its eyes seem to glow, and it points at you and utters some words that you don't understand, and why don't you make me a wisdom saving throw at advantage?
At advantage?
Because, yeah.
Yeah! 9.
The all too familiar feeling of you no longer have control over your own body.
Oh, great.
Oh no.
And you get a feeling in your mind that says, it points to the druid in the middle and says, bring her down.
Mm. Can I telepathically communicate with Aslan?
I will say you can try to make a animal handling check, DC 15 at disadvantage.
Alright, cool. Now?
No, sorry. So Flint, your turn. But you don't know what happened. Make me an Arcana check to see if you can determine what that was.
I feel like he would almost be used to these sorts of things happening to me right now.
Ooh. 19.
Yes.
Nope. 18.
You know what it is.
Oh, bitch! Healing word. That's a bonus action.
Okay. You are no longer your mind. The impressing force of this creature in your mind just dissipates, and your mind is now your own.
My healing word is cut your shit.
I got a 1 and a 5.
Cut your shit! And then I'm going
Oh, what does that
to
mean?
cast Sacred Flame, I guess.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah. I'm gonna step up 10 feet, Sacred Flame on that guy.
Okay.
Not bugbear. So that's a dex saving throw for them.
Fail.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I actually do damage with Sacred Flame.
That's
And it's a 9. They take 9 damage.
not bad.
9 radiant damage.
Max
Okay.
min.
Clyde, it is your turn.
Okay.
The holy light comes down, and it just kind of like fizzles it off. It saw a little bit of pain, but it's a little too dark to be harmed by this minuscule amount of light.
Well, I'll start it. Guess I'll
What
just
size are
step
these
up my
guys?
light game.
They are, I believe, they are medium size.
Awesome. That's awesome for me.
They are medium size. They are not fiend, undead, or
That's alright. Medium sized is good enough for me.
Yep.
Will this hit both of them? I don't know what the distance is though.
It's 5 feet per stick. Or per
So they
Oh, okay,
are
so it'd be
5,
one.
10, 15, 20, 25,
It's
30.
10 feet wide.
They're 35 feet
No,
apart.
it's 35. It's
Oh.
30 feet long, 10 feet
Oh.
wide.
that would do it. Yeah.
Yeah, alright, cool. I'm gonna cast Tidal Wave.
Okay, and that is a saving throw.
Each creature must make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, and that
Keep that and
is,
tell me what to
and
do.
what is her spell save?
What's your spell save?
It's gotta be like 17, right?
Probably.
Oh, wrong.
Next page.
I think it's 17.
Let's say 15.
Yeah, for half damage.
Yep.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and roll damage as you swirl your hands, this
4d8.
pulsing up from beneath the snow, this giant wave of water pushes forward and smashes into both of them.
Okay. So I'm roll
12, 25.
25.
Okay, so this guy on the right here, he kind of steels himself against it, and they're not prone, I know.
Okay.
So
If
the
they,
guy,
but only if they.
only if they fail.
Yeah.
So the guy on the on my left here, he kind of steadies himself, sees the wave coming, and it hits him, and he gets pushed back a little bit, but he's able to hold it off. So he only takes 13 points of damage. And this guy takes the full 25, and he's knocked down prone. So it hits him, and he tries to push back, and he sees his friend do it, but he gets distracted and looking, and just falls right over, takes 25 points of damage.
Nice.
Okay, Theren.
Alright, well, as this guy tried to charm me, and he did actually, I am gonna have Aslan pounce on him, and with pack tactics, make an advantage.
And how does
his-
pounce work?
He
It's an extra attack or something?
Well, his first attack, he jumps on him, and if that hits, then they make a strength check, or they get knocked prone. It's a 12 strength check, and if they get knocked prone, he makes a bonus attack.
Okay, alright.
So first attack, would be a 23.
That is a hit.
All right, and that is his claw attack. So that is a d6 plus 3. So that's 6 damage, and he has to make a 12 strength check.
He passes.
Ah, darn.
12 damage, though.
That's all he does.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is... okay. Aslan hits him, but it looks like he's able to, you feel like the damage should have been more than he actually took. Like he's resisting it somehow, perhaps.
Well, then with my magic longsword, I shall come down, and as I'm mounted and have mounted combatant.
Advantage on the attack.
That's correct. And that will be a 27.
That is a hit.
Great. First one will do 9 damage. Second one will do, 18.
18 hit.
And that will do 6 damage.
Okay, so 15
damage.
total.
Sorry.
So, you kind of, Aslan runs up to pounce, he claws at him, pushes Aslan back so he doesn't get a chance to knock him over. You kind of ride up on top, you're there, you bring your sword out and slash down at him. He tries to block it with his dagger and it just misses right past him, gets him in the side. He kind of bends over and you see the blood hit and drop on the ground. It's black and green. It's a weird mixture of blood as it hits the ground. And he looks down at that and then you kind of hit him right here in the shoulder and it kind of sticks in, maybe about a quarter of an inch, and rake it back and the blood sprays on the ground across the snow.
Does it hit Lanther?
Lanther gets a natural 20 on a saving throw.
So
that was both of your attacks. It is now back around to the top of the round. So the enemy. So the guy that you drew in close to, he pulls out his dagger that he already had that he used to block, and he tries to slash at you twice with his dagger. And the first one, he brings it down and you just kind of catch it with your sword and flip it back. And he brings down a second one and he's going to connect with this one.
Oh, darn.
He's Rick.
Should have called Rick.
And you take a d4.
I mean, I yelled to everybody.
He's looking at the books, though.
Yeah, I know, but like...
You take...
No, he's not. He's just
He's
totally
not.
ditched us.
You take 8 points of piercing damage.
Oh, no.
And you must make a Constitution saving throw.
Remember,
Remember, I had 4.
yeah, and that's true. And I also have advantage on one Constitution saving throw, which I shall use now.
Nice.
Ha! Isn't that great? That will be 12.
All right. As you block the first one with your sword. He comes around, and as the dagger's about to enter into you, you just notice a thin line of black liquid along the blade as it enters into you.
Oh.
And
I've been poisoned.
Hand me the Sword Coast Adventure Guide.
you, holy fuck, are asleep
I'm
for 12 rounds.
Oh, great.
Every night.
And you just fall down, and Aslan kind of leans up and catches you, and he's asleep.
I'm asleep.
Sleeping poison.
Okay.
Why are you giving me a big sigh?
I'm not giving you a big sigh.
And the other guy uses half of his movement speed to get back up. And he looks at Flint
You.
and points at you.
With my Bridges of Thunder.
And make me a wisdom saving throw.
I've been rolling like shit today, so let's hope I don't fuck that up. Too bad. 25. Nope, 15. Sorry, I'm a lying piece of shit.
Either way, you pass. You feel the kind of grip of this thing reach into your mind and try to grasp and control you. And in your mind, a little mini spirit guardian around your brain pushes it away.
That's why I keep summoning them.
And that was its turn. So Flint, it is your turn.
I'm asleep
Sorry,
on
one
my...
First
Wait, do I have advantage against?
Oh, you. It's. I don't know if it counts as. You can't be put to sleep, magically put to sleep. This is a poison.
Mmm.
Would healing word fix that?
No.
Were you just checking that?
Yes.
Would
It says-
hitting me with a snowball fix it?
I don't know.
Dealing any damage to you will wake you up. Or they could use an action, I guess, to wake you up. But if they hit you, you wake up.
No, I was looking at it and it says I can end the effect of one spell. This is sleep poison.
Yeah. You can't be magically put to sleep.
Yeah.
This is mundanely putting you to sleep.
Good enough.
Yeah, so chloroform still works on you.
Right.
And watch out for rupees.
Oh no.
I can't even get to you.
That's fine.
Can you throw something at him? Oh, you only have one attack.
Yeah. I'm gonna head over to you. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And let's do. I'm gonna do spiritual weapon.
Magic missile has a first level spell.
Good.
Do you
Spiritual
want
weapon,
me into it?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
So it's
But
has
I'm
a range of
asleep,
60 feet.
so.
So it will be a shuriken.
Yep.
Praise Mistra. I'm
It
gonna
is a
have it
7-pointed star.
be right here and use my bonus action to have it attack. I just want to make sure I can still actually do that.
Yeah, you can on the first turn as a bonus action, and every turn as a bonus action you can have it attack again.
All right, cool. So yeah,
Okay, so go ahead and attack and use your wisdom as a attack bonus.
16.
That will hit. Go ahead and roll damage. It's a D8 plus your wisdom mod.
Oh, wisdom. That's a 7.
Nice.
So you summon this 7-pointed shuriken of magic emblazoned with the 7-pointed stars on it of Mistra, and it zips right across the front of his chest, and a thin little cut right across, and you see as it goes, and because it's spinning like this, it's just a turbine of blood. It hits all over Aslan, it hits all over Theren, and it all over the ground, just in a.
Yeah.
And that is your turn. So Clyde.
What animals can I conjure?
I think it's got CRs there, right?
You read.
I
You
don't,
need to learn
I
what it
don't know
means.
what I'm looking for.
Just read.
Okay, reading.
Creatures summon are friendly to you and your companions.
Total challenge rating of 2.
Obey verbal commands. That's awesome. You don't use any commands. It doesn't say. It doesn't say on here, so we're looking up the book.
Okay.
Right there. Which one?
Conjure
Which-
animals.
Animals. Cool. Animals. 1 beast of challenge rating 2 or lower. 2 beasts of challenge rating 1 or lower. 4 beasts of half. 8 of a quarter. So you could get 2 dire wolves.
I gave on the sheet here. Everything that's highlighted is a challenge rating
You
of
could
2.
get 8 panthers.
8 panthers.
They'll get pack
What would be
tactics
most
together.
helpful right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think panthers
That'll
get.
help.
You could get lions.
Get 2 lions.
2 lions.
Get
2
two
dire
lions.
wolves though
2 lions,
instead.
2 dire wolves.
Dire wolves get pack tactics.
No, they don't have pack tactics. Panthers don't.
Oh.
That would be pretty
Gotcha.
ridiculous.
You get a giant.
They'll get pounced though.
Just pick
Pounce, 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 pounce.
Alright. So, which is better, 2 lions or 2 dire wolves?
They're pretty comparable.
Just same.
Of course, the same.
Okay.
One of each.
Alright.
Lion and a dire wolf.
Lion and dire wolf. And can I send, like, each of them to attack the 2 separately?
Tell me what the range is on that, out of curiosity.
60 feet.
You can actually summon them right in front of it.
Ah, cool.
And then the dire wolves.
Summoning.
Dire wolves? Or 1 dire wolf?
One dire wolf,
lion?
1 lion.
One dire wolf, 1 lion.
I don't think I have a lion. I have a couple of wolves and a bear.
I got a wolf.
And a little tiny bear.
There's a wolf. You can use the tiny bear.
Yeah, use the bear. 'Cause
Sure,
they're the
it
same size.
has a mane. From the back, it looks like a lion.
Here's a wolf. Here's a wolf. Put the wolf by one.
Oh.
The bear's gonna be the lion.
That? Aslan.
Okay.
And you
And-
roll for their initiative.
So the lion gets pack tactics.
The dire wolf does too, doesn't it?
He's by himself.
Oh, I see.
So I roll this one? Okay.
Well, you know what? Why don't we just, for ease of this, just let him act on your turn.
Okay.
Makes
So
sense.
they'll act right now.
What am I doing?
They are gonna.
Whenever
every
it's your turn,
time you
they'll
do it,
attack
they'll
on your
attack.
turn.
Oh, okay.
So you can go ahead and roll attacks for the animals now.
Okay, well I rolled 1. It was 12 while I'm here. And then do I add things to it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know
Direwolf
if
gets a
it's
+5 to hit.
So 17.
That would hit.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have dire
2d6.
2d6?
2d6. Plus 3 damage.
I think he gets a.
13 strength save check.
Okay, what was the damage? I'm sorry.
It's this plus 3?
Plus 3.
8.
Okay, -8. And it has to make a DC 13 strength saving throw, get knocked prone.
Correct.
It fails, so it's not prone. Can you knock that guy down? So the wolf seemingly formed out of the mist of nothing in a swirl of leaves and earth and fire and wind, just formulates in the ground in front of it and runs up.
Otherwise, this would be.
And it bites at the leg of the Crampite and chomps down and rips back, pulling its feet out from underneath it, and it lets go. You see a chunk of its flesh fly, and it's growling at it now, teeth bared, blood dripping from its maw. And now go for the lion.
Right. Lion has advantage, so you roll twice, take the higher number.
Okay.
+5.
So 15.
That will just hit.
Alright.
Okay.
And that is what? 1d8 plus 3.
D8. Where are you?
Yep.
Plus what?
3.
Oh, I have it right in front of me.
Yeah, we're right in front of you.
Plus 3?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, 5.
Okay. So the lion reaches over and kind of just right across the chest. Lion claws down with a nice scar right across the chest there. And there we go. Okay, and that was your turn.
Yep.
So now it goes to Theren, and you are
Can
asleep.
Aslan use its action to telepathically wake me up?
Why don't you make me a handle animal check?
Wow. Okay. I don't have anything for that. So, 7.
No.
No. Aslan's kind of glad. that
He'll
I'm not
defend himself if
talking.
he gets attacked,
Great.
but he hasn't been attacked.
So I'm just laying on top of him right now.
Correct. Now it goes to their turn.
Only 11 more turns, guys.
This
And I'll be
guy
conscious.
uses his
Oh,
movement,
good.
Oh, boy.
movement speed to get back up. Stand that guy back up. Half of his movement. The guy that's surrounded, he is looking a little worse for the wear and a little scared of what the outcome may be. So you see him looking around, and he reaches down for the pipes and
Uh-oh.
begins to play his pipes. And everybody within 60 feet of him must make a wisdom saving throw, except for you, because you're asleep.
I'm asleep. Does Aslan?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Does Aslan have to make a
Yes.
saving throw?
Because this would be hilarious.
24.
Wow.
Okay, you're fine. Nothing happens.
Aslan does better than I do on wisdom
16?
saving throws.
Oh,
14 for him.
lies. 19.
All right, you're fine.
14 for Aslan.
Aslan makes a saving throw.
Great. At least somebody can for me.
You know what? Why don't you
I
make
don't know
why don't you
what
make
is funny.
make a save for the lion? Well, you can just roll for the lion because Jake's got the information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Make it-
roll again for the lion.
Okay.
Yeah, 19.
all right, and make a save for the wolf.
All right. Wolf gets +1. 12.
12.
The wolf fails. So, in a seemingly hilarious yet also terrifying moment, you see. Let me just pull this up. How this works here. Let's get the spells. Spells. The wolf rears up on its hind legs and begins to dance. A little irresistible dance.
Woo!
Dancing all around.
Okay, wolf.
Completely shuffling and tapping its feet and capering for the duration of this spell.
Hello, my baby. Hello.
Alright, so that is that guy's turn, and then this guy looks over and he sees that the wolf is dancing, and he takes that opportunity to swing and make 2 attacks at it. Let me see if he gets advantage. I would argue he probably does.
That, what? Because I'm sleeping?
No.
No, 'cause he's dancing.
The dancing.
Oh.
He's attacking the dancing wolf.
Oh, good.
Was it Dagger Dance Wolf?
Does have
Dagger?
advantage.
Okay.
So, okay, he's gonna swing with his dagger.
14 for the wolf.
Okay, so he hits the first one, and he hits the second one. So he's going to do
The wolf has 37 health to
Okay.
start.
So he sees this and he just quickly right in the chest of the wolf, but the wolf takes 5, and the wolf takes 9 points of damage total.
9 points.
Yep, and the wolf has to make a Constitution saving throw or fall asleep. So you can go ahead and roll that.
That's 2. 14.
Wolf is awake but dancing.
Okay.
Still dancing.
Flint, it is your turn.
Alright, I am going to
Hit me with
move
one
up
magic missile.
the next 10. No, I was just going to punch you with my hand.
Oh, okay. That works fine for me.
Yeah, I'm
I
going to
don't
punch
care.
him with my hand.
You also could wake him up.
As an
Shake
action.
him and wake him up. You don't have to actually damage him.
Yeah, I'm going to punch him.
Okay. So make a roll to attack. At advantage.
You could try. You could punch
My
me.
luck, I will miss. So I will just wake you up.
I'll say that that's because it doesn't specifically say that waking you up is an action. I know sleep says it's an action. I'm gonna count this as a bonus action because all he did was just fall asleep.
Okay.
And he's naturally immune to magical sleep, so I'm gonna say you could just shake him, but you can't command your spirit weapon.
Okay.
Or you could
Or
use
the
an
other way
action,
around,
or
yeah.
whichever one you
Yeah.
want.
I'll wake you up.
Ah.
Theren, you fell asleep again.
Huh.
In the middle of a battle. Get your shit together.
Sorry.
Then guiding bolt on that guy.
Okay. And roll an attack. You bend down, you shake him awake, and then while you're doing that,
He's on a line. He's up here.
you're up here, you wake him up, and while you're doing that with this hand, you kind of do your little somatic movements and shoot a beam of light out from your hand
22.
to descend down upon the crampite, and the light all over top of it. Or go ahead and roll damage.
2d6, 3d6?
46.
I'm gonna go tiny.
Alrighty, let's see what you got.
15.
Okay. The light less shaken off than it was the time before, where he kind of just almost laughed at your strike. You see it kind of, and you know what little hair it does have. It's not the chitinous kind of insect armor. It looks like it is severely hurt now, and it is looking much more worried than it was before.
Gross.
Clyde, it's your turn.
Okay.
You can have your animals attack, I believe, as a free action.
Yeah, you just verbally command them and they do it.
And you can make a
Can the wolf attack if it's
as
dancing?
an action, a dancing creature can make it. It can use its action to make a wisdom saving throw to try to regain control of itself.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw to the wolf.
Do wolves get wisdom? +1.
+1. 7.
The wolf is still dancing.
Dancing wolf.
All right. Well, the wolf.
That's-
The lion's gonna attack.
Okay, go ahead and roll an attack.
He gets advantage on it also, but that'll be fine anyway.
Go again. Just in
Because
case
you
you
get a crit.
No.
Okay.
Okay. So
So-
19 plus. What am I plusing?
That's fine. You hit.
Okay.
You hit. I'm fine with you
I
hit.
hit.
So roll the damage. D8.
Well,
Yeah.
we're still-
D8 plus
oh,
3.
Oh, it comes over here. So your attacks are right here.
D8 plus 3.
Claw.
8.
Okay. Again, it rakes again. Now it's got a nice X across its chest of lion claws, and the lion, you can see, you know, the just dripping blood into the snow.
That's gross.
That's cool.
Alrighty, and it is. You still have your action as well.
Cool.
What would you like to do? You can either transform into an animal, cast a spell, run up and hit them, whatever you'd like to do.
So if I transform into an animal, can I do that and then go and attack him?
Yep.
Cool. I want to turn into a giant elk.
Okay, I know
Nice.
elk is an interesting choice, but let's do it.
I
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
don't know what else is it. Well, I can do the
Giant elk.
Do the elk.
Wait,
You know,
look.
that's
What do you
cool.
want to be a giant constrictor snake?
I wanna be a giant.
Whatever you want to do.
Because
Hold on,
giant
let me
constrictor
look. I
snakes
didn't
are
think there was the
cold-blooded.
first one on the page. Oh wait, I can't. Wait.
But I'm
It's down
groggy. So
Cave
there.
bear.
Exact same thing as a polar bear, but you can see in the dark.
Oh, okay.
It's daytime out, but yeah,
But yeah, that
it's dark for now though.
it is
What's your
dark.
tiger?
Unusually dark.
True.
That's why I fell asleep, I think.
I think so. Whichever you'd like, as long as it doesn't fly.
No, they don't fly. These are pretty.
I just can't make a saving throw.
Yeah.
This has more hit points.
Everything but wisdom. I'm fine. Athletics, strength, charisma. I can't imagine failing a charisma saving throw.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Just making sure you can get there.
Okay. Cool. Sorry.
Still
It's
thinking.
okay. You're learning all this stuff.
It's a lot of information.
Jaren says you don't want to get it all on your horns if you're an elk. So.
Oh.
It's true. It's true.
Could be a frog.
Should I be a snake or a bear?
Roll a d4.
1, 2 is a snake.
And 3, 4 is a bear.
Okay.
3.
3.
Bear.
Bear!
So you're turning into a cave bear.
Yeah.
Nice.
In my mind, they are brown and they kind of have more like kind of hard patches of where the skin is hardened on their back. And you are the size of a polar bear, but brown and with deeper set eyes that can see in the dark. And you can go ahead and run up and attack whoever.
You attack the one that's by the dance symbol.
And you have multi-attacks, you get to attack twice.
Plus, it's got guiding bolt, so.
You're at advantage.
You have an advantage on your first attack.
Let's roll this twice.
Roll
Got
it
it.
twice, take the higher.
15 plus.
15
Plus the bears.
The
It'll
bears.
be down here. So whether you're doing bite or claw, the +7 is yeah.
Okay, so 22.
To hit?
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll. That was for a bite or a claw?
Bite.
Okay, go ahead and
right there.
roll the damage.
Okay, so
What's the damage?
D8 +5.
Nice.
Nice.
It's a strong bear.
7.
Roll the 2, still got a 7.
Yeah!
So it again, you reach in and you kind of bite into its side because it's too busy kind of laughing and distracted by a
Laughing at
dancing
wolf.
wolf.
Don't be laughing
So
at
you
wolf.
reach into his side, you kind of take a chunk and rip it out, and now he's like screaming in pain in some weird language that you can't describe, and you still get to do a claw attack.
I've been missing out on 2 damage every time. 'Cause I forgot that I had
Okay. Do I roll it twice again?
fighting.
No,
weapon
no.
fighting.
Just the first attack.
Oh, okay, cool.
But
So but I got 19 plus 7, so 26.
Okay, that hits as well, so bring it in for the
Got
claw.
dueling.
Okay, and the claw again.
But I didn't have my character sheet.
2d6.
So
Okay.
I forgot about it.
that's fine.
Plus.
Plus 5.
Oh, nice.
Noise.
So 11 and 16.
Okay, so you kind of go in for a claw. It looks like it's gonna move over there with the dagger to block, and then you rear up on your bare hind legs, and that big maw just rip the entire throat out with that claw, and it just and it falls over dead.
Yeah!
Bear's pretty cool.
I like the bear.
Theren, you are awake.
I like
Great.
it.
I'm also
See, now I know
angry,
what all the
and we'll be
numbers mean, so I can make
attacking
more informed decisions as opposed to, I want to do
this
this.
guy with
Cramp bite, sure.
That
yeah,
helps.
this cramp fight.
That's why I
with
call it
advantage.
that.
A 22.
Different
I'll hit.
Alright, and that one will do 10 damage.
Okay. You bring down the sword, and this time you catch it. It goes a little bit further down in about 2 or 3 inches, and you can actually feel your on the shoulder bone as you rip back, and you feel it as it goes across the bone as you tear it out.
Great. And then my second attack will be a 17.
That's it.
Alright, and that will be for 11 damage.
All right. He again. Now you kind of cleave down into the other side, and it's so far down that this arm kind of falls limp, and you feel like he has no use in that arm now.
Nice.
You can do it.
Then Aslan will
Well, they'd be
attack.
giant crabs. They would just be crabs. They'd be the
Pack
size of
tactics.
animals. The size of
Which
dogs.
will be a 22.
All right.
Oh, I have to tell Sam.
7 damage.
How's Aslan want to do this?
Aslan wants to bite his head off.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Aslan rears up and seemingly, for the moment, kind of forgetting that you're there, and just with this deep lion roar, mane shaking, kind of glistening in the snow. You fall off his back, and it just reaches up and just bites down, and then like brings it down to the ground, so he's down on his knees, and then he kind of bites, and then goes back, and then regrips and bites further, and then just kind of the head flies in a circle around, and the blood all over the place. The head hits the ground, and the cramp bites are no more.
I know, that was
Aslan.
excessive.
I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed.
All
That's
right.
amazing.
That's
That was,
amazing.
that was impressive.
You're a bear.
You're a bear. There's so many animals around. I want an animal for my bag of tricks. Oh, look, we have a.
Oh, wait, is my wolf done
What's a
dancing
7?
now?
Yes.
Okay.
7 is another lion shows up.
Yes.
We have another.
Wait, so do my animals stay or do they go
They
away?
stay for like however long it says, a minute, I think.
Up to an hour.
Up to an hour. Wow. So they stay for up to an hour.
Great.
Yay!
So now we've
Yeah,
I've got 2 lions.
I've got a
I
lion and
also
a
want
gyro
to point
and a
out
bear.
to a potential future bard, conjure animals is a spell you can take. At level 6 bard.
Nice.
6 bar.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, then I didn't. Okay.
What are you owing?
Because then I don't have to worry about James's
Because he's
silly
give it a good Popeye.
rules for find steed.
Yeah.
And just like,
Summon a bunch of
I
animals.
conjure a lion or I conjure a giant elk and ride it.
Yeah.
As a tiny little halfling.
Yep. So, congrats, guys. You defeated the Crampites, or as they are known, per home of beasts, the Dark Satyrs.
Ah.
Makes
Oh,
sense.
that's cool.
Pipes. And
Yeah, makes
so, all right. So you guys head back into town. You know, a little worse for the wear.
Oh,
having
I'm taking those pipes.
Wait, so
though.
those were just the minions of the bad thing, right?
Yeah, we're not near
No,
the
I
bad
know. Oh
thing.
no, I know that. Just clarify.
Yeah.
How you guys feeling health-wise? Everybody feeling good? You guys
I'm
want
good.
some
I
snacks?
didn't
or
take
something?
anything.
I
I didn't tell you to cut your shit,
You did tell me to do
but you
that.
were at full health at that point.
Yeah.
No,
It's true.
I'm good.
You cool? Alright.
You're cool.
I'm making myself a little bit.
You sure?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you
Back up
guys
to full
make
health.
it back to the temple, and you kind of fill in Axton and Rick on everything. That
Rickman, next time we all like rush out to
Oh, I should
like go
probably
fight
not be
something.
there.
I mean, this is your town. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm still a bear. aren't
You're a
I?
bear. aren't
unless you say otherwise.
So we come with a bear and
Multiple
a
lions.
wolf
And a-
and 3 lions.
Lions.
A pride of lions.
Pride lions.
And you know, you come in and Axton looks a little like, whoa, what's with all the animals?
With a menagerie.
Oh, well, you know druids and how they can be. And this one's mine. And this one is Aslan.
And that's Clyde.
He kind of, all right, sure. All right, so anyway, he says, what happened? And you kind of, obviously, you
Okay,
guys
so we had
Oh, there were Crampites and we killed them. We don't know. Yeah.
killed them so dead.
One of their heads is out there. I didn't bring it in.
and
I did not, but I brought these flutes.
he's looking at the book, and he says,
Don't play the flute. Don't make
I
the
played
little
It put its
dance
mouth
game.
on it.
I know, so did I. I pressed the digitation first.
You're gonna make my wolf dance
so
again.
he
Got
looks
it.
at the book, and then he's reading through text, and you see Rick is kind of like searching for books in the background, and he kind of, and then his eyes get really wide, and he says, wait a minute.
Is that a good thing, or is that?
He said, did you say you killed them?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Yeah.
And he continues to
Were
read
we not
these,
supposed to?
and then like he drops the book,
Oh no.
and he says,
Axton's being really melodramatic.
he says, upon further reading through the texts while you were gone, we determined that the minions, the Crampites, if they are contained until the end of tonight, their master can never come into being.
Oh,
However,
we
if they're
fucked up.
slain, he is summoned instantly
Oh,
at the point of which they were slain.
We gotta go back outside. Rick, you should come help.
And that's
Rick,
where we're
you
gonna end
should-
for the night.
Okay, yeah.
Fudge.
Oh man. We
Darn.
fucked up.
Maybe a little.
I'm comfortable with our decision.
Yeah, really. I am too.
Yeah.
Fucked up a little?
Yeah.
Listen, we got a whole horde of animals, so I'm good.
Got a whole menagerie.
Well, if those guys came out with that information a little sooner, we
Yeah,
would
fucking
have done it.
Freaking.
Axton.
Alright, so let's figure out what the experience is for this.
Why do I keep on- Does that happen? I don't know.
How many RPG things did we get?
Right now, I have 3 for Theren,
Hey. Alright.
and I have 3 for Clyde.
Yeah, buddy.
I actually have 0 down for Flint.
Yeah.
Wasn't role playing hard tonight.
He's enough on a roll.
Alright.
So that is, in case you didn't catch that, that was 450
Yep.
for you, and an additional 450 for you for your role playing. Let me get you the actual experience from all of these things. Okay, that's that.
Did I get experience for bringing the light as a oath of the ancients? Yeah, having fun with the kids in town and stuff.
Yeah, no, that definitely helped.
That was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Doing that,
Still this evil
helping
curse.
Mrs. O'Leary in the ways you did.
We sold the rat tails.
We do. We
You
haven't
guys
get
have-
paid.
Well, I mean, her husband died. We weren't gonna ask right there. That'd be crude.
That would be crude. Tomorrow, maybe.
After we save the world, anyhow.
Yeah. If we don't die.
If we don't
horribly.
die. If
Otherwise,
we
Mrs. O'Leary will make out like a bandit until she
will.
dies.
So we got a lot of rat tails.
Yeah, if we all die and Rick also dies. Because I imagine Rick just wouldn't let himself get slaughtered by an evil thing.
Level 15, you can do some shit.
Probably. I don't know. I've never been there.
Swarm of rats. Everybody gets 1,035 XP for
Alright.
that adventure. I think for the bear conversations, the flirting with Rick, all that good stuff, that's where I think most of Clyde's XP came in.
Yay.
You know what, why don't you give yourself 150 XP, Flint, for your expertise in the race.
Alright.
Solid second place there.
I did alright.
A lot better than I had thought.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
work
not-
to do.
Good at those things.
Dangerous over short distances, like we said.
Wow. I was planning on jumping over it, and then she crashed into it, and then that's my excuse. So.
Could've cut it in half with my wood axe thing.
If only you had. Would have given us all a chance, really.
No, but I was being selfish.
Yeah.
Like I do.
So, yeah, that was that.
That was that.
Some dark satyrs,
Was.
Crampites as they were.
The name made me happy.
Yeah, I realized I made some choices I would have changed in my brain, but that's okay. Doesn't really matter now, because I should have waited to mention that they were the minions and had you think that that was the monster, and then when you got back, found out that they were only the minions. But I screwed
That's
that
okay.
up.
That's fine.
That's alright.
It was still pretty climactic.
It was still, yeah.
Just doing what I could. I had a little bit of a headache from whipping that
I was gonna
lion
say,
head
you-
around.
Yeah.
You painted a picture.
Yeah.
You did.
I said I was gonna do it.
You
You
did.
did.
Felt good.
That's not a liar.
I was swept up. I was emotionally invested.
I know, I had you almost crying over the baby rats.
Baby
You
rats.
did! The poor baby rat.
And the dead baby rats.
And
I
Mrs.
know,
O'Leary and her
someone-
husband.
I felt
Oh, man.
terrible. Wish there was more we could do for him, really.
There's not. I mean, yeah, I don't.
I don't know. I'll see if she's got some relatives.
Had he died a minute ago, I could have helped.
True. All right.
Till you get
so
true resurrection. But he's already like a real old guy.
Yeah.
were we
That's about.
Fell down the stairs.
Triple D? Is that the thing? You doing that?
Probably not.
I mean, I'm down. I mean, I'm the one that has work tomorrow, but so is Jake, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I got work tomorrow. What is it? Already midnight?
It's midnight.
Maybe not tonight.
All right. I mean,
We'll save it for when we got some more time to discuss it.
Yeah.
fair enough. All right, guys. I know we said we were gonna do a Dungeons and Dragons discussion after this to go over how to design an evil campaign, but we're gonna actually save that for next time, which doesn't sound like it's gonna be next week. Is that the plan, right?
Probably
You
2
guys-
weeks.
January.
So we will
I'm
actually.
here.
He's my ride, that's why. So.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It would be also like weird. Pat won't be here either.
No.
It would be just me.
It would be.
Solo
Oh no, Pat
adventure.
gets back on the 28th. So it would be you and Pat.
It would be an entire game of just you going on dates with Rick.
No, Pat would be there.
Pat,
So
Pat
it
might
would be a
there.
very weird game with those two.
That would be a weird
Because
game.
Pat doesn't want. His character has no motivation to do anything,
He
and
really
your
does.
character doesn't talk to people when they're new.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned that it was a tryst, because I was like, she's doing the thing where she doesn't talk, and then she can't correct me and say it was a
Dalliance!
dalliance. But you did.
That's what makes
I
it
have
real
high
fun.
charisma though, so
He does.
It's true.
And you didn't even get
I
to
did
fight
not-
the charisma
yeah.
save creature that those rats and the. You know what? But I'm okay with it because we dealt with all of the role playing stuff.
Yeah.
of
No.
Mrs. O'Leary.
And we enjoyed our winter festival.
The Winter Festival was fun.
Right up until it wasn't anymore.
Until, yeah.
All right, so we'll be coming back in January, I guess. So we will be back the next episode of our Tuesday night D&D show, which does not have a name yet. Just saying, and the group also does not have a name yet.
Well, we gotta wait for the whole group to be here before we can name the group.
I mean,
The name that we came up with at the end of last time was like the Raiders or the Agents of the Lost Ark. Because we were trying to find Pat's
Down.
ship,
yes,
which
that
he
ship
named,
is the Ark.
which he dubbed the Ark.
Walker of Darkness, we actually have
He told
a
us.
fourth player. He's just not here tonight because his character ran off to join the circus.
It was a childhood dream. He
It's
couldn't
a childhood
resist.
dream.
You gotta follow that dream.
It's the exact kind of thing he'd do too.
Yeah.
Right.
And we may potentially be having a fifth baby droid.
Maybe. We'll
Another
see.
lady, possibly.
Yay!
Although-
Nature cleric.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. She's like, I want to be a nature cleric. I was like, great.
Which would have been interesting because you could have actually, with a nature cleric, you probably could have controlled the dire rat queen and made them work for you because that's a thing nature clerics can do.
Oh, man.
Only
Could have saved the babies!
No, we would have.
Like the Pied Piper.
Yes.
We could have saved, and we could have added them to our menagerie.
For those of you
Pretty
interested,
impressive right now.
That would be-
we do have all of the social medias. It's Nerd Immersion on every social media that
Mine's
exists
not a
out
real
there.
lion.
Walker of Darkness, I would recommend looking into Roll20.com. They do have open games there that you can join. Also, the Fantasy Grounds forums also has open games, and you can also check the D&D Adventure League to look for a local shop near you that may have games, typically on Wednesday nights. Unfortunately, we decided to go with this functionality with people in person rather than having people online, just because it's harder to coordinate unless everybody's online. And then this was kind of we were doing that, and then we decided let's go with in person because it's more fun. Everybody's at the same table.
We had enough people to do it.
We had enough people to do it.
Chips.
There's chips
And beer and
beer.
cookies.
and beer and cookies
And puppies.
and puppies.
It's pretty good.
Xander's giving no fucks.
Believe me, Walker of Darkness, I hear you about being the DM. It's rare that I get to play, but when I do, I relish it. But I also am getting more involved in DMing again for the first time in a long time. Like, involved in the process. Like, I've been DMing for a while, but enjoying it and taking it to a more role-play level with accents and movements and descriptions and things. And that actually is making it a whole kind of new experience for me. So I'm enjoying that more. But yeah, Jared, if you want to find us, it's at Nerd Immersion on Twitter, at Nerd Immersion on Facebook, Tumblr, Google+, YouTube, Twitch,
Google Plus?
DeviantArt,
Yeah.
Nice. He's
Uh,
on everything.
That's most of them.
Instagram.
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 Don't have a Snapchat.
Pinterest?
Pinterest. We have a very big
Reddit?
following on Pinterest.
What?
We don't have our own subreddit.
Tumblr?
We're on Tumblr. I don't have a Snapchat set up for it. I've actually thought about that. On a Periscope, too, if you want to watch live streaming that's not on Twitch. So,
Weird.
A lot of
That's
stuff.
impressive.
and also nerdimmersion.com, the actual website. So,
Who uses an actual website? anymore? Proxy apps.
but anyway, guys, we had a blast. Thank you for coming out and chatting with us live. We are typically here every Tuesday. We will be back what did I say, the 2nd of
In
January?
2016.
Seconds of Saturday.
Yes.
The 5th of January, we will be back here at the table. At least the 4 of us here, maybe 5, maybe 6 of us, depending on how it goes.
No.
We'll
Getting
see.
crazy.
And also, round of applause for Celine for actually playing her first real game.
Lovely. That was tons of fun.
And you, I think you did very well. You were excellent in combat. You had great
Thank
role
you.
playing. You could not throw snowballs or run in a
I
race,
couldn't.
but you did pretty good.
So
Otherwise, all the things aside. So,
All the important stuff you're doing.
yes.
Yeah.
So.
And anyway, you
Anyway.
can't beat the kids.
You can't beat the kid.
Yeah.
So we will thank you guys again. We'll hopefully see you next time. Be on the lookout. There's other D&D content coming out. Seems almost daily, but at least every week there's at least a D&D video on our YouTube and sometimes other videos. We sometimes stream random other stuff on Twitch too. So anyway, guys, we will catch you later. Have a wonderful holiday, and we'll see you in 2016.
Later, nerds.
Merry Christmas.